Are things working? Oh, things are working. Yay. Things are working again. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. My name, of course, is Alma Hexblade, your head guildmaster and chief barista. And today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. It was a very stressful week, not gonna lie. But I'm very glad it's over. Partially. Well, partially for me at least. Yay. So what was it? Today's our Finding Out Friday, so where we do our nice little educational video watches. Let me just pull up the list here before we get started. I should have done this beforehand. How's everybody? I'm doing pretty good. We're gonna do this in reverse order because I'm not bothered to scroll up right now. Ooh, we have some good videos today. I'm very excited for some of these. Why does it keep posting that? I wanted this link. Let's see here. Oh wait, I just realized I can just watch this in reverse. So a lot of these are like educational stuffs and just kind of...
These people are
Don't want to show the video too early, no spoilers. Let's see here. Lots of good educational stuff, of course. Some Danger Boy content, which is what we love to see. Some Danger Boy content. Let me see here for the game stream side. I just need to make sure that the capture's working properly. Okay, display capture. I think this should be it. Should be good. Now let's swap over. Awesome. Okay. Also, I think I might need to crop it a bit more for the purposes of showing you guys content. Okay. Oh! That's why. It was doing this thing again. I just need to crop it. There we go. So this first one is about seltzer, or like, the history of seltzer in America. Weird topic, but I mean, hey, everyone loves soda. I love soda. So let's watch.
These people are drinking seltzer.
Oh,
It's kind of like bubble wrap happening on your tongue, like a little person dancing and popping the bubble wrap.
These people are drinking seltzer, and they are very not alone. Here's a chart. Seltzer then, seltzer now.
It's harder to swallow than regular water, but in a good way.
These people are drinking seltzer because it's 2018, and in the United States, people are drinking more seltzer than ever. Here's another chart. That's
I actually
seltzer,
don't
that's soda.
know why
Seltzer
everyone
wins.
is drinking seltzer.
Like bitter edge to it, and it's clean and crisp. It's just pure.
This guy makes seltzer at his factory, where it looks like 1950, but it's 2018.
The seltzer business in general is on an incline.
Yes, it is.
It's like on the inside of the cheeks.
It's hitting your mouth. It's making you think, oh, I'm drinking something.
That's the grip of it, right?
This guy wrote a book about the history of seltzer.
The first book ever written about seltzer.
That's Barry. He has a good shirt. It's 2018, and seltzer is most certainly a very big deal. Here's some questions that people have about seltzer. Why do Americans suddenly like seltzer? Why does anyone drink seltzer? Is seltzer not the same thing as sparkling water?
I also just kind of personally don't like
Is
seltzer.
seltzer bad for you? Good questions. Thousands of years ago, all over the world there are mineral springs. The water that they produce contains stuff like salts, calcium, sulfur, magnesium. It tastes minerally, and sometimes it has bubbles.
Bubbles.
This is mineral water, the first sort of seltzer.
Back then, seltzer was all about health.
That mineral spring water is considered medicinal if you drink or bathe in it, and that makes it valuable. The towns where it comes out of the ground start to bottle and sell it. But no one knows how to make bubbly water, so those spa towns have a monopoly on it. One of those towns is actually called Spa in Belgium. That's where we get the word spa. Another one in Germany is called Niederselters, which is important for one reason.
Niederselters, seltzer's water, seltzers, seltzer.
That's where we get the word seltzer.
For some reason, water from seltzers became the name for all water like that. But I don't know why.
That's okay, I think it's still interesting. Bubbles feel good in our mouth because of science. The CO2 reacts with enzymes in our tongue, which activates pain and coolness in our nerves. And if it's science, that means we can make it. How to make seltzer. 1772. Joseph Priestley is a British
carbonated
philosopher
water, right? Or is
and
there more
a
to
grammar
it?
scholar and a chemist, because it's the 1700s and having multiple professions is considered dope.
Dope.
Other people know him as the man who brought Unitarianism to the United States.
That too. Priestley wants to make bubbly mineral water. He figures out a way. He realizes that if you force carbon dioxide into water, it'll dissolve in the water. He calls this impregnating the water. All right. His method uses an animal bladder, so it sort of tastes like pee.
Ew.
Still, this is the first time anyone has made artificially carbonated water, and it's a huge deal. And now that we can make it, we're about to make a lot of it.
Within a few years, we have a Swiss watchmaker by the name of Schweppes who thought, maybe I can make a company around this.
Oh, that's where we get
What
the
is
ginger
seltzer?
ale from.
By the 1800s, Europe is all about manufactured bubbly mineral water. But then Americans develop a taste for a new drink, bubbly water that doesn't have minerals, non-mineralized carbonated water, or seltzer. Americans reject that European idea that minerals make water healthy. They want their water pure.
Water has minerals which we must remove or neutralize, so we run it through filters.
So now there are two kinds of sparkling water. It either has minerals or it's seltzer. Today, most of the world drinks mineral water, and seltzer, for the most part, is for Americans.
How would I personally describe the taste of mineral water over regular seltzer? Gross. Ugh, I can't stand it.
Seltzer's heyday. So now it's the 20th century, and at your local soda fountain, seltzer is the base for tasty drinks. Or a truck can deliver plain seltzer to your home in a glass bottle, like this.
Ooh.
Most of that seltzer gets made at these small factories called seltzer works. Very few of those seltzer works will survive to the present day, but some of them will.
My name is Alex Gomberg, and I'm a seltzer man. My
I like the seltzer
great-grandfather,
bottle.
Mo Gomberg, opened up Gomberg Seltzer Works.
In
It's so
1919, all
cute.
alcohol in the US is banned,
It's so
and
cute
seltzer
looking.
becomes even more popular. And then it isn't. Why people stop drinking seltzer?
Because soda?
The people who drink seltzer start moving from the city to the suburbs.
Soda shops are being replaced by diners.
Instead of getting stuff brought to them by a delivery man, people start getting stuff at the supermarket.
They start changing how people get their beverages.
And all those fancy seltzer-based sweet soda fountain drinks start to get replaced.
Cola becomes the taste of what it means to be American.
Seltzer is not cool anymore. But then, people start drinking seltzer again. Sort of. First, rich people in the US
They were called yuppies.
start drinking Perrier.
Yuppies stand for young entrepreneurs,
Perrier
by
is
the way.
mineral water, but it's a start. Then, in the 80s,
And you can use
lots
it
of
as a
people get
slurp,
hooked on
too.
this pre-flavored seltzer brand called Original New York Seltzer. Their commercials are extremely good. Their founder jumps off a building. He's okay.
The original New York salsa, now available everywhere.
Peak Seltzer.
Okay.
LaCroix.
Oh no.
It doesn't call itself seltzer, but it ain't got minerals, which means it's seltzer. Here's the stock of the company that makes LaCroix. Wow.
Ah.
LaCroix is a phenomenon, but it's also just a symptom of a larger trend. From 2012 to 2017, sales of carbonated water in the US go up almost 70%. More people are drinking it than ever before.
Seltzer. More people are drinking it today than ever before.
You said it, man. Anyway, seltzer's back. Everyone suddenly wakes up from the 20th century and realizes that sugary soda is terrible for you, and that diet soda, while maybe not as bad, is still technically syrupy garbage compared to what I will call the good stuff. Barry's happy.
What a time to be drinking seltzer.
Some of the old seltzer works get back on their feet. Alex joins the family business, and business is good.
We use the same old-fashioned bottles. The only difference is now we have a computer.
So now we're all drinking seltzer. But we are not done
No,
yet.
I'm tempted to.
Because there is this question. Is seltzer bad for you? Starting around 2015, there are suddenly all these articles saying that seltzer...
Now, I'm really tempted now because, like, there is a vending machine in the guild house that has seltzer, and I've never got it. Even though, like, everyone seems to enjoy it, so... maybe tomorrow I'll give it a taste and we'll see what happens.
Seltzer might be bad for you. And it is very scary. But it's a little less scary if you understand it. So, the main claim that a lot of these articles make is that all seltzer has acid in it, and that acid can erode the enamel in your teeth. Ugh. And that is based mostly on this study from 2007.
Sparkling water?
But most headlines about that study get something wrong. The acid that is in all sparkling water is just a natural byproduct of carbonation called carbonic acid. And carbonic acid is not a problem for your teeth or for your health. The actual problem is with some flavored seltzers, the study doesn't say which, that are flavored using citric acid. And it's the combined acidity of carbonic and citric acid that you find in some flavored seltzers that has the potential to be bad for your teeth. But dental experts, some of whom are quoted in these same articles, say that that risk has to be put in context. Seltzer that's flavored using citric acid is worse for your teeth than unflavored seltzer, but it doesn't have the artificial sweeteners and sugars that are in soda or energy drinks or even juice. So the correct takeaway here is not that you should stop drinking flavored seltzer, it's that you shouldn't be drinking flavored seltzer instead of water. Does that make sense? And remember, all this is just about flavored seltzer. Because you know what is totally okay to drink? What all the studies on the subject say is fine for you? And what some might argue, me, is even better than water? Plain, pure, beautiful, clean. Pour yourself a glass, drink it from the can, get it at the bar, hold it in your hand, listen to the fizz, life is pretty good, have a special day, plain seltzer. Listen to Alex.
Seltzer's not bad for you. Seltzer's good for you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, today, we drink seltzer.
I'm tempted now. You've got me interested. I've been sold. I've been sold on seltzer, maybe a little bit. And next thing is about, made in America cars that might not be made in America.
What is an American car?
American made, that's what America, big, better, badder,
Chris Longo builds and restores cars for a living. American cars.
We got to build within our country.
This is what America's new trade policy is all about.
Buy American and hire American.
Protecting American workers. Except GM, Ford,
oh boy, here we go.
Those symbols of America aren't even really made in America. No car that comes off the line today is 100% made in America.
Driving a Canadian Impala.
And if you really want to support American workers,
there are other places.
You could buy Japanese.
Ooh.
I'm Preeti Varathan. This is Quartz. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.
Quartz honestly has really nice videos.
This is the Yugoan Japanese garden. It's not in Japan. It's not anywhere in Asia. It's in Georgetown, Kentucky. Because of cars. We went to Georgetown to understand what America makes. Georgetown is home to one of the biggest auto plants in the world. A plant that today can produce more than 500,000 cars and 600,000 engines in a year. A plant that makes a car so American, by some measures, it ranked as the most American-made vehicle 2 years in a row. It's the Japanese Toyota Camry.
This is it, May of 1988.
Does it bring back fond memories?
Oh, yeah.
This is Avery Bussell. 30 years ago, he started on the team that built the very first North American Camry. Yeah, that one there. He's one of more than 8,000 Americans working at this plant. Avery says that because of his job at Toyota, he's making more money than he ever thought he would.
From a financial standpoint, we're very fortunate.
But Toyota has brought more than jobs to Georgetown.
I remember when I came across that hill in 1979, it looked like it was dying.
Woolbot. Yeah, it's Woolbot Day
That's
today.
Jack Connor. He helps businesses get off the ground in Georgetown. He says you can see the effects of Toyota everywhere.
This is what happens when
Oh,
you
don't worry
build
about being
a very,
late.
very strong manufacturing base, and the numbers
If you're here, that's all I care about, you know?
lie.
The numbers he's talking about, the knock-on effects of having a company like Toyota come to town. Toyota uses more than 100 suppliers, Kentucky companies that make everything from its seats to its tires. Toyota has supported schools, students, universities.
Robot's always good. Yeah, Robot's
It's
good.
attracted more than 70 Japanese companies to Kentucky. Companies that hire Americans.
Business is thriving in this area.
Business is thriving.
And Georgetown isn't a special, isolated case. There are foreign car companies all over America. BMW's biggest plant is in South Carolina. Kia has a plant in Georgia. Hyundai is making cars in Alabama. Honda just opened its 12th American plant. And a lot of these factories are expanding. For the first time, foreign car companies are set to make more cars in America than American companies will. The forces that pushed American car companies to move overseas have made it so that fewer cars are actually made in America. But it also means that many of the cars that are made here are not made by American companies, and that basically no car today is entirely made in America, or in any one country. We know because we tried to find a completely American car, and we actually did.
I think this one is probably about 100%.
Yep, the one that looks like it belongs to James Bond. Chris Longo has painstakingly sourced every part. Its chassis is from Washington State, its turbo was built in America, its engine was made in America, its tires are local. It's also decades old and expensive, very expensive. To get a car that's 100% made in America, Chris had to restore it himself. Because cars are just not made like that anymore.
That's curious, that's interesting, a Ford coming in from India.
Frank Du Bois is a professor at American University. He's obsessed with one question. How made in America is your car?
I used to work on Volkswagens, so I became pretty familiar with tools and repair quite early.
As a teenager, he fixed cars. Now, as a professor, he's created the most comprehensive Made in America index. It's got over 500 cars. He's pretty much the expert on where cars are from.
And I go up and if it's parked, I look at the VIN number if I'm curious, you know?
Yeah. So a car lot like this is kind of Frank's version of a candy store.
It's from Canada.
It's like sourcing.
American.
It's interesting.
It's Mexican. All right, here's a guy with an American flag, patriotic.
Very patriotic.
Driving a Canadian Impala.
Frank says figuring out where a car is made is actually super complicated.
I think it was made in the US, but I bet it was made in Mexico.
What does that mean?
It means you can't always tell a book by its cover.
To understand that, look at Ford.
You can figure out where they
Ford is
are,
an American company.
like where
And
they're
some of
built.
its cars
Interesting.
are sourced and made in America. But its transmissions are also made in Brazil, Slovakia, the UK, China, France, and Germany. And its engines can come from Romania, China, Canada, Mexico, South
From the
Africa,
VIN number?
or Turkey.
Oh, I see.
Freshly minted Fords come off the line in plants all over the globe. Because Ford assembles cars in China, India, Mexico, Russia, Spain, Thailand, Vietnam, Brazil, Venezuela, Canada, and Germany. You get it. This is why Frank likes to say that cars are more like humans than objects. They've got messy DNA. They can be part Indian, part Mexican, part Hungarian, and American. And this, the complicated messy DNA of cars, is all a product of trade. Frank thinks this is a good thing. Competition has given us better cars, and moving factories to cheaper places brings down prices. Whether or not you agree with him, globalization is a reality. Because pretty much all of the products that surround us, besides the ones we can grow out of the ground, are just like cars. They have messy DNA too. And that messy DNA means policies that protect American industry, and only American industry, are really hard to pull off. A tariff on imported cars and parts would hurt foreign car companies like BMW and Toyota, because they do build cars overseas. But it would also hurt big American companies like Ford, GM, and Chevy, the same way steel tariffs help American steel while hurting the American car industry. Because when America slaps tariffs on a good, they might be helping one type of American worker, but they're usually hurting other kinds of American workers and plenty of foreign workers. If the lesson from cars is anything, It's that what you think of as American isn't necessarily American, and what you think of as foreign isn't either. Frank isn't saying Toyota is 100% American, because where the idea for the car came from, the design, the R&D, that matters too.
It's an American car insofar as it's assembled in America, using American labor, but at the end of the day, it's a blend of Japanese.
And those profits go back to the engineers, designers, the executives, the shareholders, people in Japan. But to guys like Avery, guys on the assembly line, they don't see Toyota as foreign. They see it as American, as Georgetown, Kentucky.
When I hear Toyota, it's Georgetown, it's Scott County, it's Kentucky.
Do you think Kentuckians feel a pride in Toyota or a loyalty to Toyota?
Yes, very much so.
To guys like Avery, it isn't the brand or company that dictates how made in America a thing is. It's the place, the workers, people like him.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Does it matter to you where your things are made? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe to the Quartz channel for more of our videos.
I remember the only thing I really thought about when it comes to like globalization of parts and stuff is as long as the place, as long as the what am I trying to say? As long as the parts are sourced in an ethical manner is all I'm really kind of down for. I mean, I know some things are not, and it's just really hard to do that type of thing. But you know. Okay. We are now in the Danger Boys section, where boys do dangerous things. This video is about testing Mall Ninja weapons and seeing if they actually do something, which is funny.
This episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by Raycon. Head on over to buyraycon.com/rogue. Spell it right, R-O-G-U-E, and get 15% off your first set of
Danger Men? Yeah, Danger Men time.
Jason, we've had some terrible ideas on this show.
They have all been amazing, and we have broken new ground in improvised weaponry with speed, grace, and neither will you!
Grace, okay?
And power.
Homemade bolas. Homemade Morning Star. That sounds so scary. Oh my god.
That is powerful.
But now, my friends, we have to take it to the next level. We have to go to the mall.
All right.
What's a mall?
Shut up, Eli.
Guys, what's a mall? What?
All right, we are here with Anthony of the Historical Weapons Guild, friend of the show.
Right.
Anthony, how many weapons would you say you're proficient in, if you were to guess?
Ooh, proficient? That's a strong word. That's a heavy word.
How many weapons would you say you're better than me at?
Just a couple.
Just a few. Well,
just a few.
We're going to test
All right.
you right now with some of the finest weapons found at the most glorious and exotic malls and gas stations across the world. Lord Nightplague, bring us our first entry into the mall weapon extravaganza. This is Lord Nightplague. He's our local mall ninja. No, bring me the sword.
Why am I dressed like this?
Just give me the sword. Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
It's stuck on my glove.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. Yep, get out of here. All right, thank you.
Perfect.
Lord Nightplague, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is.
Wow.
I don't.
That looks so dumb.
Sword-like?
Yeah.
Well, look at
Right?
And must it be a tuning fork?
It's kind of a tuning fork.
I do have to ask, Jason, is this stuff from the 90s when you were shopping in the mall? Or is this stuff like more current?
I had my puddle of mud rocket. It was early 2000s,
Yeah,
actually.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I'm going to hand it to you.
Do you trust me with it?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on this? Just right off the bat.
First impressions.
Give us. I want a clinical analysis from a swordsman of what you think about this weapon.
Okay. My initial concerns is these tines aren't straight together.
Okay.
And I don't think that's an intentional. Like, if they were split like this, we could pretend it's like trying to blade catch and lock and twist and disarm. But it's trying to be straight, and that's just going to really mess up any kind of cuts you're going to make with that, right?
Wow.
Other issue, like, if you're drawing and slashing it, like, because your shirt looks stronger, right? Like this, you kind of get those nice little saw action, like catching and tearing and ripping. So that's That's a mark for it in the good direction on that.
Okay. What elements of these are traditionally found in swords, and what is weapons you find in gas stations? Like, what about this? What about this looks legitimate? You said that maybe if it was a part, it could be a blade catching thing.
That's not real.
That's not real. That's not real. You just made that up. That was a good one. I believed it.
It
I
sounded
totally
good.
believed it.
So there was a blade catcher. That's a real thing, but they were not like notched in sideways. They were like
that's
very
cool
orthogonal,
looking.
very like that.
Although
The
it is very
thickness of this
silly.
feels like I expect a rapier.
Yeah, this looks like the
feel,
Shadow
but
the
it doesn't
Hedgehog
have
made a
any of the
sword. I agree.
benefits a rapier would have. Like rapiers wanted to be long and thin and light and nimble.
Shadow the
and
Hedgehog
this
makes a
is
sword.
Thin and light.
But I mean, well, no. If Shadow the Hedgehog made a sword, it would be Gunblade.
Combat and felling
Duh.
enemies with something like this.
I mean, what do they have?
They have.
If I had to use this, obviously you want things in your main hand, whatever, just so for striking things like that. But I'd be tempted, especially with the weird angles of things like that. And I know it's dumb, and I know people are gonna yell at me for this, but I'd almost want to do it like almost inverted, like, and trying to capture and like deflect with those serrations instead of trying to catch and deflect here, because there's no strength in this to cut against. Like you put pressure on it, it's you see that sliding. Like
Yeah.
nothing good is coming from this.
Do you think that's going to survive any fight?
No.
No.
Not.
Okay. How many orange Juliuses would you give this blade?
A quarter?
A quarter of one.
A quarter of an
Yeah,
like a
like
little
it's-
sampler of orange Julius?
Yeah.
Sampler.
Like a NyQuil cup? A little shot glass
Like,
of orange
I'll give you
Julius?
3 samplers.
Three
samplers.
samplers.
3 samplers of orange Julius samplers.
Aww.
That might
Oh,
be
no.
generous.
Now we have to test it.
On him?
Which
Oh,
victim?
yeah.
Yes, on Corey.
First we'll thrust.
Thrust.
Right. Easiest, safest.
Oh well.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Across his face.
Yeah.
Reasonably effective.
Daryl has been unmasked, and now I have safety protection
For the rest
next
of
blow.
this.
Safety.
Nice.
Continue, sir.
So
Oh, okay, okay.
That looks
That
like it would hurt.
right?
I mean, if you're made of cardboard. No.
That seems more effective than I was thinking, anyways.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Like,
Huh.
you can mangle some cardboard with
Poor
it. but,
Daryl.
Like, that's that ragged teeth catching and
Yeah.
tearing,
Poor,
right? You see
poor
that?
Daryl.
Yeah, that would suck.
That's like the intent of those designs. Like you catch them.
Yeah. So you're saying
Right.
somebody who is unarmed and unarmored, this would be still somewhat of a problem.
And made of cardboard.
Yeah. I think the made of cardboard's thing. Like what's behind the jacket?
Those are PVC.
Yeah.
PVC arms.
If I can hit the jacket without, see what it does against the jacket, right? From the back. You see, it doesn't even.
It didn't even get into the jacket. Oh,
Like there's
you
a,
got
there's a
little
small tear
Yeah, a little tear.
in the vinyl.
Not the cloth, but the vinyl.
Oh no.
You'd be scratched up pretty nastily against it,
Yeah.
but it's thin enough and it's got those nasty hooks, so it'll probably scratch up, draw blood. But as far as like convincing, effective, unless you get one of the exciting vital points there.
It's not even earning that orange Julius, is it?
And that's
For our next one, Lord Nightblade.
That
if
wasn't
you
a
will,
good one, but
please.
it was dumb long. I don't know why it was so long.
Oh my God.
is that a crown?
It's a-
Dude, Jason told me to pose like I don't.
Yeah, go ahead and pose. Give us a pose. Come on.
Okay.
Be cool.
Uh,
All right, that's good.
That
Join the blade. Get
That
out
was
of here.
perfect.
Can I go now?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
I-
I think you punch with it.
It wants to be a punching dagger, I think.
It looks like
Punching dagger.
MMO like
Yeah.
How does a punching dagger work?
like
Exactly like it sounds
gauntlets
like.
for a
Pull it
fighter.
Strike
punch
with it
people
from
with
there.
it. That's-
That
Like,
sounds.
Ask a
good.
stupid
Super
question.
You get a stupid answer. Man, did I get one?
So it's the opposite of the Assassin's Creed thing,
Okay.
right? Because that comes out underneath his head.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So he has that.
Now we
and a
need a
wrist
value
thing.
version of
Okay,
this.
so
with
let's
the
say that
Yowie.
this is a
What?
punch dagger. Explain to me a scenario in which this would be useful.
You want to hurt somebody a lot. Like
You're-
there's not.
You're at Del Taco. There's a
Okay.
big line. No,
Yeah, and you just like, all right, guys.
and
I mean,
it's-
that skull will be good. And like I said, maybe it's just like, it's
it's really just a mask?
It's a mask.
Fight prompt.
Right?
Fight prompt. You're at Del
Just
Taco
call
and
me
there's a
on this thing.
line.
It's-
What
I feel
do you
it's better
do?
served as a Halloween mask.
I need to know
than-
how effective it is
seems a
for
little,
murder.
like-
Well, that's what we're here for.
mean,
We're
that's-
testing how effective these are for murder.
That's a bad idea, right?
For
Yeah, having the
threatening
pointy
points,
parts
I think
by-
it gets full
by
points for being
pointing
threatening.
parts?
Yeah.
But
Well,
we still need to see if it
They're not on the side.
actually is
okay.
capable
I
of
just don't understand
murder.
How you're supposed to hit something with it.
Like
Go ahead.
actually capable of
And then
murder.
when you hit something, how is it not going to go back into your hand?
I know.
You know, like there's no brace on the back of your wrist or
and
anything.
that's what it's missing for like the traditional like punch dagger things. It's
Yeah.
way more like insulated into your. So I mean, if we're looking at like pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we talked about this is frightening. Like
That's
when I'm holding this in like the grip that I want to hold it naturally, like it's even like it's not even.
Actually, it looks like if you tilt your wrist up, like if you tilted your wrist up, you'd actually like hurt yourself, which I think is dumb as hell.
Yeah. Well, that is for ages 7 and under. That's baby's first punch dagger.
First punch dagger mask. So things about this, right? First, it's way more rigid, way more sturdy than the previous thing. You could conceivably like use this to catch and move and discard. Like your hand is safe behind this catch. So like if there's a strike coming in, you can get this up, and you've got multiple times and ways of catching. So this is like the punch dagger side, because you've got like multiple prongs and things you're looking to catch and deflect. And
Punch
you probably
dagger.
just need like a leather brace or
Punch
something.
dagger also sounds like some MMO
it's kind of got something, I believe,
name. Like if you were in an RPG
so it's not
and like you needed to name something silly, it would be like Brian Dagger. Like it was like
we're getting better.
Brian Dagger Fist or something. Brian Dagger Punch.
I'm gonna give it 6 cheese pretzels.
6 cheese.
6 out of 10.
I don't know. I don't know what the scale is out of.
That's pretty good.
But solid 6 cheese pretzels. We're not like the Auntie Anne's pretzels, but
yeah. This is more like corn dog 7.
Yeah.
All right. Baby's first punch dagger mask
All right.
versus Daryl.
So, right.
Oh,
Boxing.
here we go,
Right, we'll sit
punching.
like so.
Ooh.
So enough.
Ooh.
It gets in, but this has no structure behind it as far as
no strength behind it.
hitting somebody, because you're going against the crook of your wrist. Like as soon as you turn this, you're back to that thrusting thing. Which again, that's why punch dagger is kind of what it's going at, right? So it's just sitting here, tearing apart cardboard.
I mean, it looks cool in an anime.
Yeah.
But it is
And, like-
cardboard.
Like as I said,
so-
like if I'm lined up with someone, like I'm not gonna be throwing these haymaker style punches to hit someone with this. Like this is just like a go away.
That would be pretty scary coming at your eyes.
Yeah,
That's
like
for
this
sure.
is just big scary brass knuckles.
Yeah.
It's kind of how.
Yeah. I mean, once you stop laughing, you'll.
Right, but the laughing is the distraction.
That's what it is.
If you're like laughing at me, it's like pull this out. It's like fine. And
That's right.
Wow.
If you're in front of Sam Goody,
yeah,
one of the Mall Ninja clans steps to you.
yeah, like you should be respectful of it, because it's a sharp thing, and like anything pushing from a punch is gonna be unpleasant.
Give him a good blow.
All right.
That was a good blow.
Something broke?
Knocked his horns right off.
I don't think he stands up anymore.
You can let him fall. Give him a. Yeah.
Woohoo!
That could have been cooler, but we'll take it.
They killed
Lord
Daryl.
Nightplague!
They killed Daryl. We did it.
Local mall ninja Lord Nightplague.
I don't.
Also, look at this.
What do we have here?
Is that the alien head?
Yeah.
Look at
I mean, you
this.
can also, I think, like push here,
Does it light up or something?
That'd be even.
What?
and then yeah.
It has a detachable blade.
Make this, but
Okay. Well, let the
Can you have
professionals.
it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
got it. You can go take that off now.
Thank you, Matt.
Please go away. Love you. I didn't even know that it did that. Okay, so it's clearly a violation of some intellectual property, I think.
That's amazing.
It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
There's a button on top that
Doesn't even go in very well.
it doesn't. All right, there you go.
Yeah, so first impressions.
Like I appreciate the heritage and homage to it.
Okay.
There we go.
Xenomorph
Brian and I were
axe.
joking before the show that this is actually from Ridley Scott's personal collection. That he's actually a blacksmith making Mall Ninja trash when
Like,
he's not making
This
movies.
This scares me.
That's worrying, right?
Yeah, like I don't want that down. Like there's a lot of unpleasant things going on in this. Like
Yeah.
immediately, like as soon as you're like okay, it's not now in my hands and not on a wall somewhere.
How's the weight? Does it feel like it's actually made out of metal?
I mean,
that you would use in a sword or an axe?
I mean, it feels like actual metal. I don't know. I mean, butter sharp, right?
Some
Is all-
high marks
except for,
already.
like the terrible little jangy points there.
The bottle openers?
Like, yeah, the bottle openers will get you before the blade will. That's for sure. But like this coming at me, like it makes me hesitant to like pull this back anyway.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, that's why they're like, oh, Anthony, I'm sorry. You don't have.
You don't like that?
You don't have the testicular fortitude for that? Well, guess what?
Wow.
Is that like
You have
a
a tiny
ring
knife.
on that? Like, is that like?
Look at this tiny knife.
Kind of a
Okay.
like
That's
a
where we are
karambit
here, yeah.
almost.
Yeah, that's frightening.
This is why we have him.
Right?
Expert.
He knows
Look
how
at
to
that.
hold things and make them
Here,
look real scary.
Dual wield.
Now
you're dual wielding.
Now we're in shape. Now we can do things. Like now it's. Now I'm not worried about like clipping myself as I come back.
I think one picture of you doing this will increase the enrollment of the Austin Historical Weapons Guild
how
by
can
an
it
order
not?
of magnitude.
How
They're
can
gonna
it
be like,
not?
they're gonna
It's
look at this guy.
so
Oh,
attractive.
no, he means
Oh, he's got the cool stuff.
He knows what he's doing. All right, so balance. Is it balanced well?
I mean, it's an axe, so yes, it's not supposed to be balanced well. It's just supposed to cleave things.
Okay.
Ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer.
Got us again.
Sharpness, oh yeah, that's nothing. Okay.
No.
Again, I kind of want to go like.
I bet like
that, right?
if it
'Cause
was
it's so
sharper,
short and the
it
grip
could
is
actually be
great
dangerous.
down here. Like this is.
Although I
smooth
don't think that would be
plastic,
just good for
not
just anything.
super grippy.
But
Would
it's
not
got
be
the
good.
magical gem,
Right?
some sort of. I bet it lights up.
Yeah.
I haven't found the battery spot yet, but
Right,
I bet
I
it
was
lights
hoping.
up.
But here, right now, my hand's protected. I kind of like that. Like, then I feel.
The
like I
mana
can
is
do
stored in
something
the
with it.
gems.
All right, how many slices of
So when you
Sbarro's
when you
pizza in
release
them
it and
all?
attack your
What do
opponent,
you rate?
How many
it
in a full pizza? Five,
goes
6 or
like
8?
straight in there.
Let's go with 8.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll give it 7.
7.
7 slices of pizza for this one.
Effective weapon. Scary,
Wow.
but effective. Thumbs up.
It's getting there. Like it's not an axe. Like I would not be trying to. It's just too short. There's no leverage to it anymore. It loses any of the benefits. But if you start either, especially when you take this thing out, like I don't know if I'd ever. I guess if we're here, right? I've got.
It is more terrifying from this
Right, and
angle.
I've got that.
well,
I've
look
got
at
the
that.
back. I've got
giving
that.
I'm giving it closer to 8 slices all of a sudden.
Right. Like, I don't.
Especially because you can see like the kyber crystals glowing in there too.
Yeah.
The kyber
You
crystals.
know it's real.
Right.
But like if you choke up on this, now I've got something keeping my hand safe, or at least moderately safe in a fighting situation where I can keep here.
Are you gonna give this a thumbs up?
I think so. I like the little free offhand weapon. It's like a little like.
Yeah, that's
We
terrible.
have a winner.
Yeah.
Hey!
Nice.
Congratulations, Ridley Scott. I mean, Ridley not.
Really not. Yeah,
But
it's
does it
definitely in the
really
not
win?
Category.
Does it
Okay,
really?
the Xenomorph facts.
All right, so
They're
two
gonna use it.
options,
They're gonna try it.
As
Come
long
on.
as Daryl lasts for it, we'll try it with a full swing, and
Okay.
then we'll play with that
Oh,
choked
yeah.
up. So normal strike.
Ooh.
Like again, lacking any sort of edge. Like,
Yeah.
it's
It's
just
cardboard.
Gonna bludgeon him
Yeah.
for a while.
Bleh.
But as we choke up, obviously we have the striking here, but you've got this little thing, which I bet,
Which you gotta be careful with.
right? You can see you get a little bit of
Yeah.
striking to there,
That would suck.
right? And then you're
Oh, see the pinky knife is pretty cool.
Underestimated.
yeah.
You're
So
worried
you've got-
about the axe.
You've
The
got those
pinky
couple
knife.
weapons, You've got the strike there.
Tiny
a little
knife.
of that.
The wee karambit.
And then
is-
you've got, but again, notice I'm back to like basic
Punching.
boxing
Yeah.
type strikes with this,
Mhm.
because like, right, striking with this is a hook, and then counter hooks there.
That again, yeah, I think you're right. That one does seem like the most effective of the batch.
Yeah.
But you know what we got to do now? We got to throw it.
Okay. Here goes nothing.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It seems safe.
It just shatters in like 3 pieces. It's gone.
Wow.
Oops.
It's gone.
Failed the durability.
It's just gone now.
I did say it was a
Not-
pretty bad grip. Now it might be better
Oh
now.
my gosh.
It just
The poor
F.
crystal.
the kyber crystal.
Oh,
It's
no.
fake.
Oh my god.
What the hell?
You guys got ripped off.
That works.
Oh, he stuck it. Oh my god, he stuck the pinky knife.
Oh no, he's gonna try to throw the hilt or the
pommel.
Pommel, yeah.
Do it again. Come on. Yo!
Oh, he stuck it again.
All right,
Fantastic.
is it?
Yeah.
You want to try it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this
The coup de grace.
should be easy, right?
I mean, everything is pointy.
How's the grip on this?
I know. It's
Where
like, where do you
just
hold
gonna
it?
grab it by the blade. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like it's sharp.
Oh. It tried.
Wow.
Consistent though.
Right.
Bleh. Bleh. None of these are sharp. If they were sharpened or something, I bet they would be like really dope. Although I'm not. Although I can only guess.
As weapons. I don't.
What?
You are high. Of course they are. What are they meant to be used for, if not weapons?
Masks. Now it's a better mask.
Sorry, now it's a better mask.
This is a little bit more Sauron now.
Handle.
It just broke into pieces. Did that one break in half?
Oops. Oh.
A blade came off of
I
it.
love how this one breaks down into even better weapons as it breaks
I
down.
know.
Right.
Yeah, now it's kind of a batarang. I mean, you could do that one.
That works.
All right, Anthony. I guess we will find you at the mall buying more weapons.
Yes.
No, tell us where we can find more of your amazing skills and expertise.
We are Historical Weapons Guild, historicalweaponsguild.com. We're on Facebook. We have a Discord. All those fun things. We're in Austin, Texas, running historical European martial arts classes 5 days a week now.
Wow. Awesome. If you've got some awesome mall ninja weapons, let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll try them out on a future episode. You want to do that, right?
Yeah.
Do more of these?
Absolutely. Sweet.
Oh no.
Here's the fun fact.
It's such a dumb thing, but it's fun. It's so fun to
love
watch.
my Raycon everyday earbuds. They're the best. Yes, of course they have all that high quality sound, the deep, rich.
Let's
bass,
ignore
all
the
of that
Raycon
stuff.
ad
And
because
yes, they're a fraction
I
of the
do in
cost
fact
of
know
the
that
absolutely
Raycons are
expensive
actually
ones.
not
You
the
freak
best
out
to
wondering if you're gonna drop one and you start crying all the time.
but there is post credits, which are fun.
I think I clipped myself or.
Oh no.
I thought I saw a little red.
Oh.
I thought I saw a little red.
Yeah.
Man injured himself too, apparently.
That's gotta count as an injury, right?
Hell yeah. Probably. I don't know which one.
They also have a day cinch injury
this
counter,
one,
which just
super
kind of
little.
happens now. Because, you know, show isn't good until you have a listing like that. Okay, let's see here. The next one is also from, the next video is also from them. And it's, I'm just gonna, it's called Testing a Homemade Pepper Spray. And there's a follow-up video, which is shooting ghost peppers and habaneros into our eyes. Danger. Danger. Don't do this at home, but we're here for their enjoyment. We're here to
This
enjoy.
episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by Warby Parker.
Go to warbyparker.com/rogue
Hey, my favorite.
and try 5 pairs of glasses for free.
Yeah, but you gotta spell it right. WARBYPAAR.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm sure you
you're
know
shocked, but that's why this is like
That's clever.
that's why this is like
I do have to do it.
a thing.
Do you?
Well, we didn't drink the Pruno, so we don't have to. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
No.
That's a Fresno.
Yeah.
It's probably not bad, right?
I don't know. You're probably not supposed to eat it in your eyes. I'm not going to hold ourselves to our highest scientific standards on this one.
Oh, because those are like
They're very high.
very, very high.
I guess what? The important part is we talked on our TV show about the idea of making homemade pepper spray. We know that actual pepper spray is made with actual peppers. We're aware that there's some kind of best way to do it. All I care about is which flavor is how bad and how quickly do they become intolerable.
Yeah, this is a homemade effort. The actual pepper spray is between like 2 million and like 5.5 million
Scoville units, yeah.
This is gonna be lower, but make no mistake, it's still gonna suck.
We'll find out. So I guess what we'll do is we'll keep everything in equal proportions.
Okay.
We'll roughly follow one of the many different recipes. If we screw up your favorite recipe, I'm sorry. We'll try it again in another episode. The important part is we got what? Poblano peppers?
Yep.
Which is
Here we
slightly
go.
worse than a bell pepper. Fresno?
Yep.
Which is slightly worse than San Francisco.
Sacramento.
Habanero- Yeah, I'm just crapping all over. Habanero, which I know by reputation is very hot. And then ghost pepper.
Which, dear God.
I don't believe
Dear
in
God.
ghosts. So
Oh
there.
yeah, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. It says super hot former Guinness World Record holder.
Former?
Former, yeah.
Carolina Reaper came to town.
Yeah, and some sort of Kryptonian pepper.
So in general, the recipes that we saw were what?
2 tablespoons cayenne pepper.
Yep.
2 tablespoons vodka.
Okay.
And then pureed peppers, let it sit.
So let's figure out how much 2 tablespoons is.
Yeah.
That's 1. There you go. And that's 2.
Now this, as I understand it, preserves it. Some of the recipes said that it preserves the pepper spray.
Probably keeps it from going bad.
And some people will say it just acts as the vehicle, so I don't know. Nobody knows.
Can't be a vehicle. You're not allowed to drink and drive. Yeah, a little bit. There we go. Cayenne pepper seems weak, though.
Does it?
Well, I mean, I feel like I can... Yeah?
Yeah.
Duh.
Is this like the cinnamon challenge, but cayenne pepper?
I'm afraid to talk now.
I feel like this is a you're not supposed to do,
So you get a
like
little,
for
little,
sure.
A little zazz in here. And then what? Some water?
Well, no, let's put the peppers in there first.
Sure. Here, I'll just, because we're about to puree everything, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of get this a little bit sliced up.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I can feel myself sweating already. Pro tip.
This is about to go south?
Yeah, that's fine.
You all right?
How much of this do we want to put in?
It doesn't really say, so yes. Dump some in there, see what that
science
looks like.
adjacent.
See what that looks like.
Right.
Yeah. Do we need more? That's probably good, right?
Well, yeah, why not? We're only going science adjacent, as long as we
Yeah.
label everything.
Yeah. Poblanos.
Science adjacent.
Spicy.
Is it?
Dumb shit.
Well, you
too.
just ate the poblano.
Just occasional
I ate a
the
cayenne,
doing
you
of
ate a
dumb.
poblano.
I know.
Like the
should
occasional
interview
doing
each
of dumb
other.
things.
Trailblazing here. What's it like? I think you got the bad end of the deal there.
Maybe. I know that the seeds are supposed to be the bad parts of all this. All right. 2 tablespoons of vodka seems like a little bit. It seems like we don't have nearly enough of anything.
I think
in
we
there.
put more vodka in there.
Right, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just sort of. There you go. Right?
Yeah.
2 shots of vodka.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Science adjacent,
Science adjacent, see?
man. We're gonna win pretty much a Nobel Prize.
It's the Nobel Prize.
We're gonna win the Nobella. It's like a shorter version of the Nobella. Oh yeah. No, that looks like a thing.
Yeah.
That looks like a threat.
We what? We chop it up, we let it sit overnight, and then we strain it.
I don't think I'd ever want to touch like that
Poblano.
ever.
Boom.
See? It's not
Because
that
like
hard,
there's
US
vodka in it
military.
too.
Although I believe the military is prohibited from using this kind of stuff because it's chemical warfare.
Oh, that's right. Geneva Convention.
Yeah. But the cops can. Oh, the
Are
faucet.
you already getting snotty?
Fine. It's fine. Hey, man, don't...
We're just getting warmed up here.
I know. All right, poblano.
Poblano.
1 in the bank.
Fresno.
Same thing with the cayennes.
Yep.
I'm not going to eat it again. A little bit of this. So, about like that.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
All right.
Science adjacent. All right, now the Fresno
Oh,
peppers.
boy. Okay.
Technically, the stuff I do is
directly in
also
there?
science
Yeah,
adjacent.
right. Take a bite.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm pretty science adjacent. I'm
And?
computer science adjacent. There we go.
There was a more immediate burn with the poblano. But
maybe take another bite.
Just eat
make sure I get
more.
some seeds in there. All right.
All right.
Some of
No,
he's
we
just
go. Trying to
eating
hit
them.
roughly the same point. We're definitely.
Oh, there it
sweating.
is.
Yep. Yep.
There it is.
Woo.
There it is.
How you doing, bud?
I'm all right.
All right.
I'm good. We're good. Everything's fine here. We're
Okay.
all fine.
Okay. Fresno.
Fresno. Let's put some water in there to cover up all of the meat a little
right.
bit.
Yep.
About like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
good. That's good.
Whoop. This one looks angrier.
Okay. Smell it. What is it? What's it doing? It doesn't smell good.
Fresno,
Yeah.
our favorite desert city.
It's basically just like vodka and peppers.
It's so bright red looking.
Habaneros, huh? Start with the cayennes.
Kicking it up a notch.
There's that and maybe a little bit more. Pretty much. Okay.
Vodka?
Yeah, right. Don't mind if I do. There we go. Oh,
It looks like we're making cursed cocktails.
You doing all right there?
just being around
Like
the...
incredibly
you're a little
cursed
juicy right
cocktails.
Yeah. I'm about to go full space slug.
Already?
Maybe. What do you, cop?
I don't think I'm gonna bite this one.
Oh, just a little nibble. A little nibble. Oh my God! You just bit into it, and it was like a wave of like, oh.
Yeah, I think it's fine. That's fine.
Yeah?
Man, they don't smell good. They smell like some sort of chemical.
Ugh.
Like
Capsaicin.
it's fine. It's fine right now. I'm not burning or anything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Water.
Water.
Whew. Right. Habanero.
I'm glad you're pronouncing it right, and you didn't have to learn the hard way like I did from John Rubio. Oh, stop pronouncing it with a tilde. Habanero. You sound like an idiot.
He did say that.
He did say that.
2 tablespoons cayenne.
Cayenne.
The cayenne just seems silly at this point with the ghost peppers.
I know.
And then the vodka.
It just seems like this entire thing is slowly getting... Well, I mean, yeah, it's getting worse as time goes on because, oh my god.
Yeah, that's good. I will not be taking a bite of these.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Smell? Don't seem like much.
Yeah. Don't be fooled. I don't want this. Do not want.
This could just be an unreleased episode. I'm just realizing.
It just ends right here.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Anyway, they
never
totally
finished it.
tested it, and it worked out great. Good job, everyone. I just wish I had anything good to say about any of this.
This is like legitimately a war crime.
Yes, I am aware. Well,
maybe there has to be a war for it to be a war crime.
Well, no, you have to be a sovereign nation, right? If you're a nation, but
we're getting there.
Again, cops fairly liberal on this. And
Yeah.
on their
What
use
counts
on
as a war
liberals.
crime?
They're not gonna care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, how awful would that be? You just hit it and it just goes.
You'll get some tortilla chips.
Oh, you kind of do.
I'm curious. You all right?
Oh
No, it was. I was like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, I feel it in my lungs. I can taste it.
Okay, ghost peppers.
no. The phrase "I
They
could
were
feel it
never
in
seen
my
again.
lungs" is not.
Oh. Well, I have tears in my eyes.
I
and,
don't have
We
hope.
haven't even started.
Yeah. I'm all drippy.
I guess let these sit overnight because something about like oils and emulsions.
Emulsification, steeping like a tea. And the real fun begins tomorrow.
Could we just do the? Time travel, go! All right, so it's a full night of saturating and emulsifying and sitting.
So you know what that means?
It's
Shot.
No. So I know we're supposed to filter it, but that's not. I guess that's only to keep it from clogging, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want a paste in your spray bottle. We just need the precious juice.
Okay, well then we'll start with ghost peppers.
The juices.
No, okay.
What's it like?
Oh boy, here we go.
I mean, so far.
Rub some on your eye.
No. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna remove the ghost peppers, get the drizzly juice everywhere.
Yep. Do you want
little
gloves?
Nah. I need the dexterity.
Gloves might be important. Oh.
I love hearing the journey from that one syllable. No.
You want to do the honors?
It's like, nah.
Ready?
Yeah. Nice and easy. No splashy.
Like it's lava.
Sure, yeah, let's just start with the most dangerous one.
Get it out of the way, man. Ooh. Oh, it's on my hand.
Oh, dear.
It's on my hand.
Yeah, you're going to go wash it. Maybe put on gloves. If you put on gloves, that's the same as washing your hands. Okay, please don't splash on my eyes. Oh, dear. It's fine. It's fine.
Like if
Hey,
you, I bet
look
if
at
they
that.
pureed
We're
it
all
like
friends.
harder,
Eyes are stinging. Now
Yeah?
it's
it
on my
might be
hands.
it might be
But I
interesting.
think that's stable.
They're
I think that'll
gloves.
be all right.
But this is still kind of
Going down.
Let's just drink it. Roll around in it a little.
Fresno.
Fresno peppers.
still very
Are your eyes stinging
scared.
already?
No, I'm actually okay.
Oh, nope. That was not good. That was bad. That thing I did was bad. Here we go.
Just goggles. Just goggles right here.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. 3 for 3.
Sure, yeah. Little baby poblano.
I feel like we need a funnel for the funnel. Oh.
This was just the poblano. You could drink that. It's fine.
I can't. Probably could.
I mean,
Well, let's
got
say
vodka
save
in it.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Trevor just pops up.
what are you doing?
This is the wildest
Okay, so
cocktail
we
I
have
could imagine.
Poblano.
Like imagine.
Fresno.
Habanero. Don't sound like a chooch.
Habanero and ghost pepper.
All right, we'll be back, I guess. You very gently walk away for a second. We'll come back later.
Maybe if they, I wonder, like, if they pressed it, it might even be worse. Like, if they
actually worked
really
way
got all
better
it
than I
out,
thought
got
it
the
was going
juices out.
Yeah, we have a lot of juice.
It's like our unofficial slogan.
But it's still very scary. Like, look how dark that look how
this
dark
looks
that liquid
deadly.
is.
Like,
It looks like bourbon.
you know, it doesn't.
Might be worse than bourbon,
I know,
honestly.
it's like it's not as fresh as when we first cut them up last night. It seems like a lifetime ago. Here's what I was thinking: is since the weakest pepper is the poblano, then what we'll do is we'll just work our way up. Oh dear, it's fine.
Did you get goop in there?
Might be a little goop, but it's poblanos. Who cares? That's fine. But I learned an important lesson about goop. Which is don't trust Gwyneth Paltrow.
There it is. Here's how to make your own organic pepper spray.
I don't know what you're talking about. She's a powerhouse and I'll not cross her. Okay, so poblano juice away. Ready?
Ready. What does Adam Savage say? The difference between science and screwing around is writing something down?
I don't know. I've never heard of them.
I wrote something. So, science.
Okay.
These are not staying up. Okay.
It's fine. It's a good thing we're not about to just weaponize these.
I know. Fresno.
Don't squeeze the Fresnos. Gently remove the Fresnos. Prepare for Fresno.
They should
You're gonna ruin
squeeze
the
it
flavor, though.
Yes.
The worst Bloody Mary ever. You know we're gonna have to eat the paste.
Oh God! I was like, well, that's not that gross. Kindergartners do that all the time.
Would you eat the paste?
Old Habby. Oh, you can really smell it.
Yeah.
And finally,
And now, the beast. Just put a little on your tongue.
only after I seal my tongue in wax. The ghost one doesn't have the odor that the habanero does.
Oh, it doesn't. It just smells kind of green.
Yeah. All right, here we go. The 4 horse boys. How are we going to measure success here?
Death.
Death.
Okay.
Seizure.
There's no
Hospitalization.
wrong answers in brainstorming.
Blamestorming. I
To
like
be honest,
that.
That's a good thing.
That's a good phrase.
I want to know whether or not any of these actually has any chance of stopping an attacker. So I figure we'll sort of walk our way up the ladder, tournament style,
Okay.
and figure out who makes it.
Well, let's go downtown and provoke someone.
Or we'll take turns. It'll be fun. I'm gonna wash my hands.
Like, if it
I just
kills
touched
them,
my face.
man, I'm
Blood.
scared.
Write my will.
I mean, it's not gonna kill them.
All right.
But this
4
seems like
flavors of
such a
pain.
bad
We
move.
have
I
a
can't wait.
MacGuffin to steal. Oh wait, I'm worthy.
No. No shenanigans.
I guess one of us will be defender, the other will be the offender.
Yes. We got to start at the bottom with the poblanos.
You want to be
delicious
offense or
poblanos.
defense?
I'll be defense.
Okay, cool. You can be the shooter. I'll be
Okay.
the stealer. And I'll take off the glasses. And it's only a true steal if you make
Now,
it
at
all
which
the way
point
up.
will this
you gotta
work?
Start at the fire pit. You have to make it all the way
It's like
up
the
there.
important
Terminator
part.
walk.
Where
You
do you
have to announce
think
that you're stealing it?
it'll
When do I
work?
start squirting you?
As soon as you call go and I get to start walking and you are
okay.
trying to defend and make sure that an unworthy person doesn't steal the MacGuffin.
Okay. And go.
Ow, ow. I'm stealing this. I'm worthy. You know, if you
Big,
keep your
yeah,
eyes
super,
closed,
super big danger
much
time
gets in.
now.
You did get me pretty good in the eye.
We're in
and I feel like
worrisome
if I
danger
open
time.
This eye, it's gonna sting pretty good.
Don't open it.
I'm gonna open the eye. Oh, nope. Shouldn't have opened the eye. Shouldn't have opened
There,
the eye.
yeah.
So not a lot of skin irritation.
Actually, the longer it's sitting here, and at this point I'm cheating it, right? I'll say this much. If I had my glasses on,
You would just be annoyed.
yeah, actually, I would have thought it was cute. I
Not a
would've
lot of
chuckled.
coughing or sneezing.
Yeah, it's sneaking up a little bit.
Okay, but you still got the hammer.
Yeah, I mean, okay, in terms of stopping power, I'll say on a scale of 1 to 10, 0.
Yeah?
It's only irritation like minutes after you
Yeah.
shot me directly in the eye.
Not a lot of Scoville units in this one. Like, you know, and I imagine most of the bite that you're getting is probably the alcohol.
Oh, from the the shooting vodka. It'd be the same as you insulted throwing a drink in my face.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the
Oh
question.
no, it burns.
Do you want to try Poblano or do you want to go straight for Fresno?
I think we should go straight for Fresno.
I will say, I don't know how long it's been, but I will say I feel over the hump. I feel like it's receding now.
Yeah.
Taking it in the eye was not great. It feels like kind of a red zone around. Am I getting red? Yeah.
Marginally.
Okay.
Not really.
And you know what? I did not think I was going to bother to wear protection, but I totally am now. I have a feeling this can escalate very quickly. Okay. You want this? You're not worthy. Come and take it, fiend.
The hammer is mine!
I feel bad at this point.
I feel bad
okay.
at this point.
All right.
Oh, that
Yeah,
one went in
it's,
his mouth.
It's just stinky.
Yep.
Like
Okay.
really stinky.
But no stopping power.
None. That was annoying and it stinks. Yeah, that's
Wait, even now?
even now.
No.
All right, it's starting to burn the tender areas around my eyes.
Come on.
It's not great, but
Give
it
us
wouldn't
pain.
like stop me.
Give us
really.
intense
Zero
pain.
stopping power?
No. I mean, oh, that sucks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there it
I
is.
gotta open my eyes,
Yep, okay.
but I have the hammer.
It's great. It's all fun.
Oh, that's
Here, do you want the paper towel? I'm approaching with the paper towel. The paper towel is, I don't know why I'm afraid. You're
Don't
not
spray me,
haunted.
bro.
Yeah. So maybe for crowd dispersal or something, but as self-defense,
yeah, no.
that's a no-go, huh?
Yeah, that's a bad idea. That's not gonna work. This
I wonder
sucks.
at what point it will start hurting.
I think we need a break between now and any of the bigger guys. But I will go ahead and experience the Fresno. Just
Yeah?
only hit me once. Don't hit me as much as I hit you.
Well, that's gonna be a challenge.
Oh, because you're blinded? I'll experience Fresno, and then we'll tomorrow hit the next guys.
Okay.
To make it fair,
All right.
you can Fresno me, but I'm not gonna make it super easy on you.
Which one is it? Is it this one?
Oh,
Is it-
no,
Oh no, he's blind.
So I'm gonna cross my fingers that you're too blinded with rage to hit me.
Yep.
All right.
Come and take it.
All right, I'm gonna take this. All right, my eyes are closed. Jesus Christ. All right, that's still, my eyes are closed. And then, man, I'll tell you what, turns out closing your eyes, pretty good defense. Oh dear, started to open the eyes. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, don't open your eyes.
They're both just blind now.
No, you're holding the hammer.
It's not what I'm trying to summon.
Paper towel?
Yes.
Two blind men.
Oh, worthy. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were doing that for a minute because my
Number
eyes were
one,
closed.
We should address like
Everyone's just blind.
shockingly effective just to have your eyes closed. And it really is only the opening. Here, would you like Thor's hammer?
Oh, yeah.
It really is only when you try to open the eyes that you run into trouble.
There's a wet paper towel for you. That
Oh,
I'm-
that'd be great. Oh, that'd be tasty. Okay. Fresno's. Yeah, I'm with you.
Right? Is it getting the tissue around your eyes?
It is, but I'm keeping my eyes closed. I know. I
Yeah.
can already tell that the moment I open my eyes, it's going to be a bad day.
Yeah, but
I would say weirdly, this is almost a better weapon of attack than defense because it did nothing that made me feel like I couldn't steal the thing, or I don't know, maybe if we were wrestling or something, I'd start to want to go away.
my face is burning very uncomfortably right now.
Oh, I mean,
The
it's not great.
follow-up.
It's no good. But it's not really going to stop anybody.
Yeah, okay, we'll find out about the other two.
Oh, God, it gets worse.
Oh, we signed up for this. What were we thinking? In terms of stopping power, I would say Poblano's was a 0. This is a 2. I feel like you're gonna have
Yeah.
to kill some time
Yeah.
before it really affects them, but their eyes are gonna close
Yeah.
and they're not gonna have an
2
easy
on the
time chasing you.
spisometer.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's good. It's a 2. I agree.
Oh, hey, I could open my eyes now.
I'm still afraid.
That seems like a shorter amount of time than I would expect, because I'm definitely over the hump. I feel like I've passed the hard part now. 80% back to combat ready.
My face still burns real bad.
I mean, it burns real bad, but I mean, if I'm all adrenalined up.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not, though.
Would you? This would be like, this is just considered like, this is all just science adjacent.
You know what I love about moments like this?
Oh.
Warby
And then there's a follow-up video, which is the ghost pepper and habanero one, which is I'm scared for, and I can't wait to actually see.
Hey, Jason, who's this episode of The Modern Rogue brought to you by?
This episode of The Modern Rogue is brought to you by Magic Spoon!
Head on over to magicspoon.com, use promo code ROGUE, and get $5 off. Sounded like a good idea.
Oh, God! Did it? Oh!
Part. On paper,
none of it was a good idea.
Well, there comes this moment that future you becomes just you, and you suddenly realize this was a terrible idea.
It's time for the
Future
streaming.
Me wants to call 911.
Current me wants to call 911.
It's time for the more pain.
All right, for everybody who missed the first
Big
part of
danger
this, how did we
time.
get here?
Homemade pepper spray.
Roll it. You did get me pretty good in the eye, and I feel like if I open this eye, it's gonna sting pretty good.
Don't open it.
I'm gonna open the eye. Oh, nope, shouldn't have opened the eye. Shouldn't have opened the eye.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to open my eyes,
Yep, okay.
but I have the hammer. Okay.
So, because it happened in the past, to past Brian, I vaguely remember past Brian saying that it didn't feel great.
It was a drag. Even the shower afterwards was a drag. I had it caked in my hair, and I had forgotten about it. And when I got my hair wet, it just started bleeding into my face.
Imagine all of that, but you went to bed. Then the next day, and you wake up, and then you're just like,
Oh.
what is happening?
You throw your pillow away.
So here's the important part. We have the two big guys. We got habaneros and ghost pepper, right?
Habanero and ghost pepper.
Okay, so do you flip a coin?
Well, okay, so poblano pepper, what would you guess? How many Scoville units would you think the poblano had?
At least 100.
Anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500.
Yeah, I'm rich. I'm already rich. It's like Bitcoin. It's the Bitcoin of peppers.
Someone's
they call
gonna
it.
Fresno,
bite it.
hotter.
It did not feel that much worse.
It wasn't that much worse, yeah. Habaneros, Scoville units.
I know habaneros, I'm not messing around. 100,000? 200,000?
100 to 350,000.
That's a lot more. Okay, okay.
That's a lot more.
Yeah, okay.
That's
If they- if they were-
100 times
if they were
worse
dollars-
than this one. This one is gonna hurt 100
I drink
times worse
water
than this
time.
one.
Okay. Now I'm picturing doing the poblanos 100 times.
Do you wanna guess?
If this is hundreds of thousands, that's gotta be a million. It's
850,000 to 1,000,000 Scoville units in the ghost pepper.
okay. What we're trying to figure out is stopping power, efficacy of stopping somebody from attacking you with homemade pepper spray, which we're not saying it's a blast. We just don't know if it'll stop anyone.
If I break into a house and someone says, I got 1,000,000 Scoville units in this,
then you'll be all like, I don't even buy Bitcoin.
moonwalk out of there.
Yeah, okay, well, let's.
That's what's happening.
All right, which one, who?
I mean, we got to take both,
let's
right?
see how
no,
dangerous
no,
the ones that are very clearly dangerous are.
1,000. Several more 1,000. Now picture both of them 500 times in a row. That's one of these.
Can I just take like a few seconds of the blowtorch instead?
Look, man, one episode at a time.
Okay.
Which one do you want to do?
I'll do the ghost pepper.
No, you won't.
I'll do the ghost
No,
pepper.
you won't.
I'll do the ghost pepper.
Because that means I have to be the one that pulls the trigger and gets you.
Oh, you have a social engagement
fell.
afterwards. I just have to go to bed and cry.
All right. Habanero.
I got it.
All right.
So the rules as we did them is you have to walk up and seize the MacGuffin.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
They're so scared of it.
Okay.
I mean, I would be too,
Rules
but
of the
like,
road.
oh my god.
Terminator walk towards it.
That's right.
Grab it, walk away.
Yep. Yep.
I'm rightfully scared of this.
Okay. Habanero.
I think I
Time
tried
to
to
be
keep my eyes open last time.
Don't feel obligated to do that. I'm not going to hold it against you if you close your eyes. Let's put it
All
that
right,
way.
here we go.
All right. Are you worthy?
Nope. Oh, that was right in the face. Oh, God, shouldn't have opened my eyes. I'm totally worthy. Here it comes. I definitely have the thing. I'm swinging away.
You're
Okay,
worthy.
afraid to open my eyes.
Son of Odin.
I'm afraid to open my eyes.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
What's funny is, oh, now it is hitting.
Oh, we didn't get any water. Oh, we did get water. There's a bucket to your right.
It's in my mouth.
Oh,
no. Okay.
Would you like some tortilla chips?
Note so far, eyes closed. Again, shockingly effective. Now, at this point, I would say I'm not very combat effective, right? Like, if you wanted to let me have it, this would be a good time because I'm afraid to open my eyes.
Ow! Ow!
What just happened? What just happened?
I went to punch you, and I got my funny bone on Thor's hammer. Oh!
I would like to believe I have the force right now.
You stopped me like Mr. Bean. Oh.
My left eye was open when it hit, so this is the one that's burning really bad. Right eye, I've not yet opened, but it's only been a few seconds. I'm gonna try opening my eyes.
Are you sure?
Nope. You know what? I didn't even make it. Like, okay, so.
Would you like for me to lead you to the water?
No, again, we're testing combat
I'd be so
effectiveness.
scared.
I would say at this point, I'm definitely not fighting. It didn't stop me. I have the hammer. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Oh dear.
There's water over here.
Yeah, but then it'll just get everywhere. I'm like a newborn baby.
Do you want a paper towel of water?
I'm a newborn baby. Newborn baby. That's all I gotta do. Slowly.
Ruddy faced and screaming.
Yes. Oh dear, shouldn't have done that. Nope. Yep, nope. Oh dear.
Okay, you may
I
have
just-
been effective in getting it, but you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, but hold on. Okay, hold on. Actually, now that the tears are flowing, hold on. If you embrace the tears, it goes,
Embrace the tears.
Yeah.
That's our new tagline, Modern Rogue, embrace the tears.
Oh dear, shouldn't have opened the eyes. Okay, here's the trick. What you gotta do is you gotta do the stoner look. Just your eyelids, keeping all that water in there.
Okay.
Shouldn't have done that. Okay.
Your nose is bright red. I don't even know you're gonna be able to hit me with
He's
the
freaking
ghost pepper
out.
stuff.
Oh,
This
no.
is scary.
Oh, there we go. Oh, damn. Yeah, just wait it out. How long has it been? Like 4 or 5 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. You may not have been stopped, but had you purloined the hammer, the Asgardian police would have nabbed you.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Because you would have been in the front lawn.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great, but I don't feel stopped.
Okay.
Cannot
give
be
this a go?
stopped.
Yeah, let's do it.
With the ghost?
With the ghost.
I am shocked at how fast that passed.
Yeah.
Like once it's out of your eyes, just let the tears roll and it's not that bad. Sorry. It's terrible. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Huh.
You're doing all right.
That was 100,000?
Something like that.
That was not 100 times worse than the Poblanos. I mean, wait. Look, I ain't judging. I'm sure the science is right, but subjectively, to be clear, sucks.
Yeah.
Not
fun.
Not stopping me from stealing a Norse relic.
Okay.
Sucks though. So you're gonna skip habanero altogether, huh?
We're going right for ghost pepper, man.
Straight to. Sorry, I'm already past it. I forget that you're just going in for your trial by fire.
I'm sitting here saying prayers to Odin and Thor and Baldur, Loki, whoever's listening.
Do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
We're playing fair here.
Yeah.
I am gonna try to shoot you in the face.
Yeah.
But don't go being a hero, keeping your eyes open.
No.
You steal that hammer.
Get the hammer, keep my eyesight, escape across Bifrost.
All right. Oh, hold on.
Danger.
Oh, wow.
It's the big one. It's the big one's happening soon, right?
Yeah, still warm. Still warm.
The big scary one is happening soon, right?
Against all who approach. Oh, you're approaching. Your eyes
Fuck,
are
you're
closed.
approaching.
I don't want to shoot you anymore. That's enough. Oh, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
It
That was a
stinks.
lot. Keep your eyes closed.
Ooh,
Keep your eyes
boy.
closed.
They're closed.
Okay.
Oh, it burns my lips.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It burns my lips and my tongue.
You're by the water. You're by the water. Friendly person here. No attacky.
Yep.
If you want to take a step.
No attacky.
Yeah, you don't look incapacitated. I mean, your eyes are closed.
When it gets to my tongue, it burns my tongue.
Yeah. Do you want water or do you want to ride it out?
I'm gonna ride it out for now.
Right? I know it seems weird. What you want to do is splash water, but you know it's gonna make it worse, right?
I mean, I don't want to open my eyes.
Yeah.
Because that would suck.
Okay, maybe try this. Just relax your eyes. See how that, do you feel that?
Oh yeah, it burns.
Right?
It burns.
Try the baby. Just relax.
Oh!
Oh, no, you open your eyes. You shouldn't have opened your eyes. No, you shouldn't have opened your eyes. No. Yeah,
I would like water now.
Okay, water's in front of you. Water's right here, right here.
Oh, no.
There you go. Okay, all right, go all in, all in. Oh, dear. Yeah, that's 10x.
That was a huge drag, man.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, it burns.
Oh, it's scary.
That's a crazy burn.
But it didn't stop you, did it?
No, it was, I mean, I waited there for a minute, right?
Yeah.
That was almost enough time for me to, like, get away.
Yeah, I think that if you're doing a self-defense scenario, the most charitable grade we could give this is it's gonna make it way easier for you to beat the crap out of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because their eyes are gonna be closed. But if they have a little thing called glasses.
Yeah. Oh, that is uncomfortable. That's very uncomfortable.
Put that on the label. That's a personal recommendation. That's very uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
The
TM.
worst burn was when it dripped into my mouth and I was like,
Right? Okay. Yeah, everything's drying up around my eyes. Are you able to open yours yet?
No, you know.
Can you relax them even?
Help me, Thor.
I mean, it's not getting worse, right? Is it getting better?
It's not getting better.
Oh no, so it just continues to suck.
Yeah, it's a huge drag. It sucks. I think I'm gonna go have one of you like lead me to the shower.
Yeah, well here, let me get paper towels. All right, here you go.
Thank you.
Just mash that.
Oh.
You're a hero.
I mean, they tell you to wear gloves when you handle them, you know?
Yeah, no, it turns out not a joke. Okay, so stopping power, none of these.
No.
But
I love and hate it at the same time.
This is definitely way worse.
I would hate to be pepper sprayed.
Oh no!
Oh boy.
It's on the soft skin of my eyelids, Brian.
Okay.
And there are fluids erupting from my nose.
I wish you guys could see the crew. Every mouth is covered by a hand right now. Oh, that's awful.
I feel like I'm an aloe vera plant that got kicked in the head.
Wow, I think I'm a believer. I don't think you're doing a bit.
No.
I would not have thought that there would be that big of a difference between habanero. Man, your reaction is harsh. Oh dear. You want another? Here you go.
It lingers, Brian. Oh. It's like, okay, so it's not gonna stop me, but you're gonna find someone like in a parking lot of a Circle K.
Yeah.
Screaming their ass off. Oh,
man. We can't be that far from actually weaponized spray at this point.
Yeah, no.
Are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
All right, now watch this. Close your eyes.
I'm so ready
Close
for
your
the
eyes, and
weaponized,
I want you to
like...
internally count backwards, because I stole your hammer!
Absolute fear.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm gonna stay here close to the water.
Okay.
You enjoy the hammer.
He's just dunking his head in it.
Dude.
My God.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave the dried. I'll try not to watch any sad movies or anything. Won't bathe for a week.
Oh God.
Dude, that looked rough.
It was like once I got it wet, it like reactivated it, maybe dripped into my eyes or something.
See, that's why I don't want to. That's why I'm never touching water again. I told you, baths are the devil. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking, I'll do ghost peppers too. And then I saw your reaction, and I was like, I think we're done.
Nope, I'm good. Yeah.
Final analysis.
Final analysis. Yes, they are demonstrably hotter than the last. I think the ghost peppers was distinctly painful.
Well, I mean, it certainly knocked you out much longer. Like, I would say you were incapacitated from a combat perspective, but none of them were able to stop us in a moment. That lag, if you're hoping that'll stop somebody from, you know, stabbing you with a knife or shooting you with a gun or something, stick to real weapons.
There's not going to be immediate action if you get sprayed with one of these.
Like with a taser.
I guess for the real life,
maybe
like
actual
the answer and all this
You know
is
what? Let's just assume actual pepper spray.
don't make it yourself, I guess.
Experienced,
Especially if it's something of such personal personal
I'm
safety.
gonna have to get a fake eye.
You've earned it. You're worthy.
Oh, it smells bad too.
Dang, we'll skip the sponsor spot. But yeah, dangerous. That was the danger segment of today. Incredibly dangerous things that you should not do whatsoever. Because, well, yeah, come on. Let's see. Next thing, we're going back from danger things to more interesting, just kind of quirky tech things. So here's Windows XP on the Nintendo DS, like sort of though. Let's see here.
Windows XP, Nintendo DS. Those are two things I'm sure you never thought would be in the same sentence, but here we are. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's episode we're going to be diving into the world of Windows XP, sort of, because we're going to be taking a look at a Windows XP simulator for the Nintendo DS called, fittingly, Wintendo's XP. And today, for those of you who don't know, is the 20th anniversary of Windows XP's retail release back in 2001. And there was originally a different video planned for today, but unfortunately, due to some shipping delays, that video had to be pushed back a little bit. So that is coming. We will have a proper Windows XP related video on the channel very soon to mark this occasion. But for now, we're going to have to settle for this, which is still a really neat application, a homebrew application for the Nintendo DS, released sometime in the mid-2000s by some French developers. And as I said, this is a simulator, not an emulator. As cool as it would be to see proper Windows XP running on a Nintendo DS, it's just not going to happen because, well, hardware limitations are a thing. The hardware in here is just not capable of running Windows XP at all. And of course, it wouldn't be a Nintendo DS homebrew related video if we don't mention,
like, I think the Nintendo DS was capable of running DOS.
What I have here is an R4 Revolution, one of the more popular.
I think it was capable of running DOS. I think I remember seeing something like that.
And this looks like
either that or was
standard
Linux. Might have been
Nintendo
Linux.
DS game cartridge, just without any Nintendo seal of approval, except for what's on the back, a micro SD card slot. You would load all your homebrew applications on this and then pop it into the R4. And
shout out to the R4. Shout out to flashcards.
And you could be right on your
way. The coolest thing.
Enjoying emulators, the Windows XP simulator we're about to take a look at, whatever it is. And this R4 even came with a micro SD to USB adapter, so you could plug it into your computer. Very nice, right?
Except it's
take note of that.
Like, except
Apple.
I think
and
it's
as much
like
as I would like to use the original Nintendo DS
I believe
to
it's
demo everything here, it doesn't show up as well on camera as my Nintendo DS Lite because, well, the screen's brighter. Though this original DS will still come in handy because, just like it, my DS Lite suffers from a bad hinge. In this case, the screen no longer locks in place. It's just flopping around there. So we're going to use the original DS to prop the screen up. So when you start up a Nintendo DS with the R4 cart inserted, it just goes straight to its menu interface. It bypasses the system menu completely, though you can still get to that by tapping on the Finder icon, which is an interesting choice, but hey, I guess it fits, though I'm sure Apple is not really too much of a fan of that. And yes, if you had a game inserted, this is how you would launch it, or in this case, since we don't, it gives you the option if you want to boot to NDS mode, which is just the system menu, the regular system menu. You also have an audio player. If you want to go in here and play some MP3s you put on your SD card, you can do that. And you have game right here, which is what we're interested in because this shows all of your homebrew applications. And yes, you can see I've been experimenting with some other stuff.
DSi for NDS, what?
The games directory here. And in here we've got two versions of Nintendo's XP to explore. We have
DSX86
2.5 and version 3.0. Now version 2.5 is in English. It was translated by, I believe, someone on GBA Temp. Version 3.0 is not. It is fully in French, and you can see it is a larger file as well, almost 3 megabytes as opposed to just under 1 megabyte here. So there you go. And what's really cool is, I was kind of looking into the history of all this stuff. These NDS homebrew applications were submitted to a couple of coding competitions, and in fact the Nintendo's 3.0 version has a splash screen for one of the coding competitions that it was submitted to. We'll take a look at that in a moment. We're going to start out with version 2.5 here. When you launch it for the first time, the R4 menu will prompt you and say that it could not find a save file. Do you want to create it? We'll say A for OK, A-OK, and it begins to load the game. So you get a boot screen there. It says Nintendo's XP, and then you get to an out-of-box experience looking interface. It's modeled after
jank, but I like it.
Out-of-box experience, and it says, "Welcome to Nintendo."
Especially the initial setup, or whatever this is.
Minutes to prepare the system. The translation is not completely accurate, but you know, you get the gist of it here. So just to kind of go over how you navigate around this, there are a couple ways of doing that. You can use the D-pad over here to move the cursor, and you can mouse over here and press the Y button to go to next. And you can see I just did that. It brings up a keyboard here because it wants me to enter my name. The cursor is moving much slower now. You saw we had that trackpad before. You can click on this mouse icon here, and you can get to a trackpad which you can use to move an see, that's okay. What was happening there is I had selected the mouse option, and then it still registered like that I was in keyboard mode here. And that is definitely a bug, and that is something you're going to see a lot of, especially in the 3.0 version. Maybe not, I mean, when I was trying this off camera, I didn't really experience very many bugs in 2.5 here, but in 3.0, yeah, there were some bugs. What equipment do you use? So this allows you to choose between a DS Lite or the DS Fat, which is just the original DS. So we're going to select DS Lite. You can see the mouse.
I remember that people called it like the Fat with a PH, and I don't,
you know, for the system to handle.
I don't remember why, other than that being like a trend or something.
Take into account the changes. If you encounter problems when using this program, you can contact us by email. Support.
Yeah, DS Fat. Yeah, no, I had one too. I had the original, and then
similarities with the Windows
I
XP
had
software.
I only had the original, used it, and then I got the DSi. Love that thing.
And there you go. You get a
that thing was so durable, and the hinge wasn't garbage.
Obviously, it says Nintendo's XP instead of Windows XP. No copyright information, nothing. We don't need any of that, right? And here we go. So this is it, guys. This is the Nintendo's XP interface. So the interface down here is the same as what we saw during the setup, but you now have a desktop with 4 icons. You've got a start menu, a taskbar, and the iconic Bliss wallpaper, which they've brought on here as well. Very, very fancy.
You got everything
down here, let's explore these options. So you already saw the keyboard mode and the mouse mode. So what I was trying to show you before we encounter that bug is that you can use your stylus to move the cursor around as well by using this trackpad mode down here. So I can go here to the start button, for example, and I can tap the left click button to open it up, just as I can use the D-pad and the Y button to select it as well and click on it.
It's so cute.
You also have the keyboard when you're presented with a text box.
I love it. It's such a tiny little desktop.
Type that out here. You have a full.
I don't even remember what the DS's screen resolution was. I think it was like 240 by something.
And then you also have some things that are just for show, like these buttons over here and this RAM indicator, and then whatever this is.
I'm sure the RAM indicator
probably to mimic like a reset button, but you know, it doesn't actually do anything. You can tap on credits here, and if you have to actually hold the stylus down. If you let go, it will go away. So these are the names of the developers. Version. Oh, this is 2.0 actually. Okay, so the website was wrong that I got this from. It said it was 2.5. And yes, English
RAM indicator. Yes, you have RAM.
So I don't know.
I mean, technically you do. I'm not sure if it's usable, but you technically have RAM. Yeah.
It using Google Translate or something, and that's why the translation isn't completely accurate. But again, it still gets the point across, and you know, it's nice that it's in English. But like I said, the French speakers, you guys are going to have a field day when I launch into the French version here. You've also got options, which brings up this little menu here. You can change the screen light. You can make
Oh,
the
that
screen
looks
brighter
jank.
if you want. And you can also change the speed of the cursor. So if you want the cursor to be zooming across the screen, which I think 3 is the... Yeah, 3 is the highest option. I think... No, it's not. Okay, I was just not pressing it there. Yeah, you got a really tiny little up arrow. Maybe 5. Nope, 5 isn't. Let's see how high we can go here. 7.
I can
Okay,
barely
so I
see
believe
that.
10 is the highest speed, so we'll set that. And now the cursor... Oh, yeah, it's zooming across the screen now. Isn't that nice? So you've got 4
zooming.
applications. You've got Calculator, Minesweeper, Notepad, and My Computer. So we'll open up Calculator here. We can double click, and it is designed like everything across this operating system to look like Windows XP. Let's do 1
It's so cute.
plus
Does it work?
5 or 55. Okay, what does that equal? 56. If you didn't know that.
Yay,
You've got
it
some
worked.
menus up here which don't do anything. At least some of them don't. So help and view don't do anything. Edit in this case doesn't do anything. So yeah, all these options up here don't do anything. But I know in Notepad, if we open up Notepad here, the options in here, some of them actually have functions. So file here, you can click on this and new, open, save, save as, or exit. But that is the only menu that does something. So all these other menu options don't do anything. So this is where the keyboard comes into play, so we can type out.
So glad I
let's
can have
say-
X
oh,
yeah,
that's
XP
not what I wanna
themed
type out at
calculator.
all.
I'm so
And you can
glad.
see we got a bit of a
So
bug
like
here,
an
so the characters are
additional
still showing
like
up, even though
that
we have gotten rid of
we
them
got a
by
notepad,
tapping backspace.
so you
let's
can
try
write
to
and save
type
text files.
Hello world. Hello world. So we can save that. It's a beautiful text document.
Pretty.
So we're going to go to file here. We're going to save that as, and nothing happens. I must have clicked out of the box. So save as. Okay, maybe save as doesn't do anything. How about save? Save doesn't do anything. You know what? I think these are just for show. Well, I clicked on new there, and it brought the cursor back to the beginning of the document, and it just hasn't taken away our text. So if I space through that, you can see now it's gone. So yeah, I don't think that save as. Let me just go back here, and let's go down to open. Ah, that's what it does. It doesn't open up a file browser or anything. It just saves that one text document, because when I clicked on open, it brought back hello world, and it brought the cursor all the way over here to the bottom right corner. So like you can only save one document.
I mean,
here.
they
So
said
one
it
thing I'm
was like
curious
a
about- let's go ahead and exit out
simulator
of
or
this
something,
here.
so
let's
like
do
I don't
exit,
blame
and then
them.
let's turn this off.
It's
and
still
then
really funny
our
though.
text document will be able to open like as if it actually saved that to the SD card, because it does write files to the SD card. Like now that we've already gone through that initial setup process, the out-of-box experience, we can go back into games here, launch it again, and you'll see it will no longer prompt us for the save data because we created it, and now it just loads right into the desktop instead of bringing us through that initial setup again. So it does write stuff to the SD card, but let's see if it saves our wonderful text document. Well, it didn't save our settings because we're back on the slow cursor here. So we'll open up Notepad again, and we'll go to File, and we will open. Okay, it does. Beautiful. So that does work. That functionality.
It can work.
is there. So
Basic
you can write
I/O
one
works.
text document.
What a
and save it
feature.
to the SD card. So
The
'cause,
great
yeah, save
feature.
as does not bring up like a file browser of any type to where you can save that to a proper location on the SD card. So we're going to exit out of Notepad here, and you can see my computer has disappeared from the desktop for some reason. I don't know exactly why that is. Oh, no, there it is. It was just hidden for
there
a
it is.
second
The
there.
computer
So,
is gone.
there it is. Now this is a file browser, and you can see we actually have that text document right here, text.txt. And this
Oh wow,
is
it actually
the
saved it as
actual
a file.
system on the card
Okay,
that
that's
we're
cool.
browsing, because you see I've got a couple files here. We've got system volume information. We've got Moonshell, that's the MP3 player or the audio player. Games, we've got the games folder, the data folder. So here's our text document. We can't launch it from here. But one thing I want to try that I'm very curious about that we will do before this video is over is I want to try and write. You know what? Let's do it right now. Why not? Okay, so
Write bits into this.
what I did is I copied the entire B-movie script. Yeah, we're bringing back that meme to that text.txt document. So let's see if we open this
The
up.
B-movie script honestly should be the hello world
That's too good.
of
That
everything.
is too
Oh
good. So
god.
it just completely crashes there. But yeah, I think I can see parts of the script too. That's hilarious. So yeah, this was like, you know, 5,000 lines or something on Notepad. Is that what it was? Yeah, 4,500 lines. Okay. So that just completely screwed up the entire game here. Oh, look, there's the start button. Okay. So let's just launch Minesweeper here. You want to launch Minesweeper and see if we can still... Yeah, I think we're gonna have to restart here. Oh, wait a second. There we go. Okay, so
I
we've
feel
got
so bad
part of the
for it.
script here. I think that's part of the script. And all right, let's launch Minesweeper. Can we launch
He
Minesweeper?
broke.
We
Oh,
can.
it's
Okay. All right, this is Michael from the future here. I mean, well, the future from when that past clip was recorded, but still in Europe.
I still love it. It's just corrupted.
I
It's
just
just
wanted to point this out really quickly here. I found this super interesting because when you launch Minesweeper, for a split second, it displays the entire board and where everything is positioned. So that makes it a lot easier, at least if you're able to take a photo or something of this to use. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to do that. But anyways, let's just get back to the video. How's that? Oh no, I lost. What a surprise. You know what? I just want to see this happen again. Let's just go to Notepad here and just...
load it.
So stupid. Okay,
Load the
open,
B-movie
and
script.
it just
Yeah.
completely freaks out. So yeah, those are the programs. I don't think I missed anything, right? We go to start here.
That feeling
Then we
when
take a
the
look at
B-movie
Notepad.
script
Yeah, that
causes
was
some kind of
everything.
buffer
So
overflow.
we can go to
You know you're in for a
shutdown
good
here,
time.
and this gives you, this looks like it was actually just ripped from
It's a
Windows
really good looking
XP
time.
and just shrunk down here. So you got turn off computer, standby, turn off, and restart. And then this button is still in French here. There are some remnants of French throughout the system, as you saw in the credits menu, for example. Again, there it is. We still have some French down here. So we're just going to turn off, and it does not load you back into the R4 menu. It doesn't shut off your system either. You can see it's still on here. So we're going to shut off the system.
Puts it in like
and
a
then power
soft
back on. For version 3.0,
shut off or
this
something.
version has that splash screen that I was talking about from one of the competitions that it was submitted to. And that is the NeoFlash Summer Compo 2009, which it scored 10th place in out of 11 entries. So that's pretty cool. So right here you have,
that's nice.
This is the newly designed
Ooh, it's
keyboard.
pretty.
Looks a little bit nicer here. Let's see if the trackpad still works with the keyboard here. Okay, it doesn't. So we can type, though there is the little trackpad down here. So that is nice. So we can type, let's try to type, oh, we've got the AZERTY layout. AZERTY, we meet again. And then, of course, you have to select what console that you're running this on. And the DSi is an option now because it was out at the time of this version's release. So there you go. We'll hit next. And then it says, merci, thank you, Nintendo's. Oh yeah, I cannot read the rest of that. Now, this version has more capabilities. For example, there's sound now. Isn't that nice? We got the Windows XP welcome
the
sound.
sound?
The startup sound, you probably didn't hear that super well.
Oh, hell yeah.
We don't have any icons on the desktop this time. We do have, though, the same Bliss wallpaper, the start button, the time there in the bottom right. When we open up the start menu, though, you see we have, well, first of all, it's the proper
trying.
Windows XP 2-column
The layout's right.
start menu, whereas we had that kind of classic style start menu in the previous version. Though not all of these options are functional. For example, all programs doesn't do anything, run doesn't do anything, help doesn't do anything, network places doesn't do anything. Actually, it does. It freezes the system. It freezes the system every single time that you select it, and even down here, like I can no
Maybe
longer
it just
change
wasn't
between these
finished.
options here.
It
What
seems
this
like it
version
wasn't
does
finished.
have is a working control panel where you can change the
Ooh.
desktop wallpaper. So let's check that out. Let's go to the start button, and we'll go to the control panel. And
Did
yes,
you hear
it
my
is
name?
showing,
No, it's fine.
like, that
Don't
I'm
worry about it.
selecting
I don't
options
think
here,
so.
But you can't do anything with these either. There's nothing there. So this first option here is how you change, and you can see we've, oh yeah, this I encountered before off camera, where you kind of
Look,
get like a missing no
the
cursor
cool
here, and it just kind of freaks out on you.
a cool
so,
little-
yeah.
Oh, it's trying.
Yeah,
Oh no, it's getting
so
worse.
let's restart, and okay, this is what it was.
It's like
supposed to
Windows
be.
2000
So
corruption
this is
all
how
like
you
all
choose
over again,
between
except the
desktop
corruption
wallpaper.
doesn't
So you
is just
can't
bad
actually
by itself
select them
already.
here. you have to use the arrow here at the bottom to go through the list. So you can pick any of the XP default wallpapers. I think they're all in here, which is pretty neat. At least it looks like that. So we're going to set it to this one, actually, the Windows flag. That's fine. So we can hit apply. And just like in XP or just Windows in general, it applies the changes and keeps the window open. So there you go. You also have appearance here. I think it may just be for show here because you can't select on these options, but you do have Windows XP Luna theme, though it doesn't really show up properly here. And then blue. And oh boy, we've already glitched out again. So this option here is your screensaver, I think.
Oh my god, we have screensavers?
Another thing for show. This doesn't really seem to do anything. Okay, so I've been going through the control panel options off camera, and it's been a little bit difficult because, well, it keeps kind of crashing there. So this performance one here gives you the actual specifications of the Nintendo DS here. Now, this doesn't do anything. It's just purely for show here. You can't make a new user account or anything. And even when you do this, when it's not completely glitched out, it doesn't work. It's just for show, at least as far as I can tell. And you see we have a little bit of trouble closing out here. There we go. Okay, this is attempt like 10, I think, at this point, the amount of times I've started this up. So, okay, here we go. We go to connection here. This one I know doesn't crash the system, but yep, doesn't do anything.
Oh, programs.
This programs thing here is just for show, so that button there doesn't do anything.
It's cute, though.
And accessibility, this gives you the option to, well, in this case, it glitches out once again, but this allows you to change the cursor speed. Yeah, you just have to tap on the text here. So we can make the cursor move around really fast here, can increase the speed, and now, when I use the D-pad, yep, we're zooming around just like in the older version, so that's pretty neat. So we'll close out of that.
It's such a cute little thing. It's a cute little pet project to make something that looks like this.
Our last option is computer here.
And have it relatively look accurate
is... Wow, doesn't do anything either. Okay, so...
I know, pretty dope.
I mean, we don't have Minesweeper, we don't have Notepad. I thought for sure we had the same programs that we did in version 2.0 in here. Actually, I think the changelog mentions something about going backwards to go forward, something like that. So yeah, version 3.0 in the changelog here says, sometimes you have to take a step back to move forward. Ooh, very deep quote there. So yeah, I assume that means, hey, we just removed some stuff so we could focus on the interface and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's what happened. We don't have Minesweeper, Notepad, so we can't take a look at the B-movie script trying to open up here, unfortunately.
Oh man,
but
we can't look at the B-movie script.
Actually, I don't think there's anything over here. Let me just double check the notification area. I don't think we have anything. And yeah, so that doesn't do anything. What we do have, let's focus on the bottom screen here. So you already saw we have the same trackpad, and we can tap here to get the keyboard, though we've got the added trackpad down here. What we also have is this third option, which swaps the screens. So now we have the desktop here on the bottom, so we can use it and move the mouse around.
Damn, what's the point even? Yeah, what's the point? Other than just like proof of concept, ooh, look, we made Windows XP on a DS. I'm like not really sure what it does.
Press the L or R button,
but it does seem neat, though.
It does just that.
It just seems neat for the novelty, you know?
Input methods here.
It's like the same idea of like, oh, we put like Doom on a pregnancy test or something.
And that is really all there is to say, guys.
That one's real, by the way.
Nintendo's XP in all of its glory. Certainly a very interesting and unique set of homebrew applications for the original Nintendo DS. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more like it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and get subscribed down below. Turn on those notifications if you haven't already, because I upload new videos every single week on this channel. And as always, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Michael's videos are always so nice to watch. Oh, jeez, hold on. Stop getting disconnected. Come on. Oh, hands are... It's a very apt game, yeah. Oh, hold on. Come on. No. Give it a... My hands will work. Just give it a second. Oh, here's the video about the USB-C iPhone. I wanted to watch this because, oh my god. USB-C iPhone. Let's go! My hands are reversed. Come on. It's trying.
So that happened. After waiting for years on Apple to make a USB-C iPhone, I decided I had enough. I'll just make one myself. This video is to document how I finally made this iPhone, the first one of its kind. If you're curious about technology, you should definitely stick around because I'll be walking you through the whole thought process of the project, with its up and downs and really going into the details. So let's get started. As with any project, you need to set clear and realistic goals for yourself. Mine were the following. The minimum requirements are that it charges and that data works whenever I plug in the cable, so reversibility needs to work. Then you need to write down a rough plan to follow. Mine looked a little bit like this. Once that's done, you go through the steps methodically and do whatever is needed to achieve them. Let's start.
Make
with
it
the
fit
first
inside
goal,
the whole
which was building a
iPhone.
proof of concept. This is
Oh
what
wow,
I did
yeah.
in part 1 video. If you haven't watched it, don't worry, I will quickly summarize it here. There exist Lightning to USB-C cables, right? To connect your iPhone to your MacBook? Well, what if I could take that cable, transform the USB-C male end into a female one with a custom board, and then miniaturize all this to put it inside the iPhone? Let's test the
My arm is
hypothesis.
being weird, hold on.
First, I went on classified ads and bought the cheapest iPhone I could get my hands on, that was still half decent at that time. It was an iPhone X. I wanted to see if it's possible to make a Type-C female-to-female board, but I found no information about this online. Just that I shouldn't do this. Great. Then I went on Google Images and finally saw something that looked like what I had in mind.
Ooh,
so I ordered it. It arrived, I tried it out, and it didn't work.
Aw.
Damn, it's gonna be harder than I thought. I took some time to think. I tried again, but I plugged it the other way around. You never know, and it worked. Okay, that's a start. But I need to dig deeper inside the cable and find out how it really works. Before I continue, you need to be familiar with what a continuity test is. Let's say I have a conductive point A and point B. I want to know if they are directly linked with a cable or trace on a PCB. I take my multimeter, put it in continuity mode, and then touch both points with my probes. A small current is sent and the resistance is measured. If it is very low, then the multimeter emits a tone to indicate continuity. On the other hand, if there is something in between, like a resistor for example, the multimeter won't emit a tone. So now we are ready to dig in the cable. I simply cut it in half to expose the wires that are inside. From experience, I recognize the color of the wires and I can already have a pretty good idea of what they do. Then I bring my USB-C female breakout board and run a continuity test between the first wire and every pin of the USB-C connector.
Wait.
This allows me to know where it connects to. Then I switch to the next wire and do the same thing again. This allowed me to have the knowledge to remove 2 connectors from my circuit and make it simpler. Remember how I said it only worked one way? Well, I had to go through the USB Type-C
Yeah, there's a
and
part
I
of the
found
spec
this
is how to
cable
make
which
it
told me
reversed.
I could easily fix it by adding a 5.1 kilo ohm resistor on pin B5. This method limits the charging speed when plugged in one of the 2 ways, but I chose it anyway because I wanted to get a prototype out as soon as possible. Now that we have the USB
Surprised
side
Apple does not use
figured
that.
out,
Well, I mean, it's cabling. That one has to be
I will
standard,
make this
and it's not
diagram a
user
little bit more
facing.
complicated. Now it shows the internal flex cable of the Lightning female
here we
port.
go.
You can actually keep it plugged in, but bend it backwards so that it is outside of the phone. It makes things much easier when troubleshooting. What I want is to remove this connector. I always start with the easy part to give myself confidence.
So he's removing the lightning. The ball's on this man already to remove the lightning connector. Like, God, that's so fast. Also, I mean, not to mention, this is micro soldering, basically. This is hard. Oh. Oh, he removed it and cleaned it up. I'm surprised he didn't
Now
break
that
it.
this connector is removed, let's focus on the last piece to fully understand what is happening here. First, I need to crack open that plastic around the Lightning male connector to see what is inside. Trust me, it is not an easy task, and this is by design. The connector that is inside the cable sold by Apple is called C91, and it is built like a tank. not very convenient if I need to open it up multiple times. So I looked around and I ordered all the third-party MFI cables I could find to see if one was easier to open than Apple's.
Yeah, it's not easy if you're
The
not
board they
used to
have
soldering
inside
something.
is called C94.
Yeah, I'm
and
not,
it is sold by
unfortunately.
Apple to third-party
Oh.
manufacturers. You might notice that there is still the lightning connector made out of metal and plastic underneath. I wanted to find a way to remove this part to see what it was hiding, so I tried many ways to do that, with chemicals, by grinding it, but in the end the best way was by heating the metallic part with a soldering iron and then pulling out when the plastic underneath starts to melt. On the right you can see the result I got. To give a quick overview of the situation, we have our flex PCB where we removed the lightning connector. We have a bare C94 PCB, which we
not to
can
mention top
solder
quality
wires
lightning
straight to the
connectors
pads
are
on
basically
flex
shitting.
cable.
Yeah,
And we
pulling
have
out, I would
this
never.
female board where we can also solder wires.
can't
to.
wink in
This
this.
is how far I
Come on.
got in my proof of concept video. And now we
I'm
want
trying.
to reverse
Anyway.
engineer the C94 connector because I don't see how I can fit it inside the iPhone otherwise. The board doesn't look like it has many components, so it shouldn't be too complicated.
Oh,
Well,
this is-
actually the board has a first layer of glue on top of the components, which is not too hard to remove. But then most of the components are covered by a composite material called underfill. It is used so that there will be less strain on the chips, but another consequence is that it is much harder for me or anyone else to remove them safely. While doing some research on the C94 connector, I stumbled across some articles mentioning that it had been hacked by someone in China and that fake connectors were hitting the market. I decided to do some research and went on Taobao, the Chinese eBay. It was a gold mine. I ordered all the boards I could find. The thing is, they only ship to China. So what I did was to
And
use
then
an
he had
agent to ship my order to the agent's warehouse in mainland China. Then the agent shipped again that order from their warehouse to my place in Switzerland. The boards arrived and one of them caught my attention. It
Ooh.
looked pretty damn close to the original, so that's the one I chose. I thought, screw it. I will reverse engineer the reverse engineers. It will make my life much easier because there is no underfill, and I'll also be able to share the schematics without infringing any Apple intellectual property. Perfect. So how do I recreate the schematics of this fake C94 board? You can view a schematic as a map where there is houses with multiple doors and then roads that make connection in between those doors. Well, the first thing I need to do is to remove all the components.
Yeah,
so
remove all the
houses.
chips. I wish I had the skill to do this. I would love to fix devices with this type of thing in mind. I just don't have the adequate space or, well, really any of the components to do so.
Then on our board, the components are gone, but the parts are still here. They are kind of like door steps. Remember the continuity test? Well, here it comes again. By trying every combination possible of the door steps, I can recreate a map of all the roads that link them together. Then, I carefully measure the values of the components I can measure, and I document everything.
Reverse engineering is some shit. Like, God.
And here we go. I
Oh,
now
and now
have
he
everything
did
I
it,
need
now he's
to
making
recreate the
schematic.
schematic. There is a problem though. A schematic is not enough to
Great
recreate
video.
completely the circuit.
Yeah, this is so good.
To make plans for my own PCB, I still need the footprint of every component. You can view it as 2D dimensions of each house. For most components, it was easy as there are standardized components. But for the two main chips, where all the magic happens, I had to create my own footprints. To do this, I take a high-resolution picture of the chip and precisely measure its outside dimensions.
Ooh, okay.
Then, I bring the
Same
picture into a
patient.
computer-aided design software and I set the scale of my picture from my measurements. This allows me to measure smaller details such as the size and position of the pads, i.e. the door steps. I do this for both chips and now I finally have everything I need. So first I design it from the schematic
wow.
I prepared. I'm going to order a big rigid PCB first because it is much cheaper than a flexible one. This will allow me to check if the schematic is correct and works as intended. The PCB arrived, I prepared it by soldering to it the components I had stolen on a fake C94 board. And it worked. Sweet.
talking about immunity.
Now,
Yeah, no, this is some
simplify
good
ourselves
reverse
even
engineering.
more, and we fully understand it.
Okay.
We can make it any shape we want. Let's make it fit inside the iPhone. It didn't take me long
so
to
good.
spot something very interesting. There is a small gap in between the battery and the Taptic engine. It runs through the whole width of the iPhone.
Oh, don't tell me he
And
sneaks
here
it
is
in.
the trick that made it all possible.
Oh, does he sneak it in there?
Almost all printed circuits inside this iPhone are on the same horizontal plane. What if I made my circuit thin enough and placed it vertically in the iPhone?
Oh shit.
There is only one way to find out. I need to try it. Remember that I'm still using wires to connect my
He's
board.
making a
I
super
created
thin.
a footprint with the same
so
trick
good.
I
Come on.
used for the chips. Then I needed to define what shape my board will have, and this needs to be very precise. I used calipers to measure dimensions inside the iPhone, and I also used a scan of the Lightning Flex cable to help me out. Then I printed the final outline on a piece of paper to double check that everything looked fine. I imported that outline into KiCad. It is now just a game to find a way to fit all the components into that thin slice. I ordered the board and it arrived. What a beauty. I noticed I made some small mistakes, but they are not critical. Then I transferred all the components to that new PCB and soldered it to the Lightning flexible connector.
Oh.
Damn, it's starting to look like an official product. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
The hole at the bottom of the iPhone is not big
Dude,
enough.
it's apparently
to
a
fit the
robotics
USB-C
student. Yeah,
port.
I
need
feel
to
this from a
enlarge it.
robotics student.
The CNC was programmed to increase the dimensions of the hole to perfectly match what we need. There was two main obstacles to overcome. The first one was
Centering
that
the
the iPhone has a
fucker?
back glass that would almost certainly shatter when I tighten it with the CNC vise. The solution was to design custom 3D printed brackets that held the frame in place. The second difficulty was that you need to give an origin to the CNC for every axis so that it starts milling at the correct spot. This is not trivial with an iPhone that has rounded edges everywhere. I used the method where you slowly approach the drill, and as soon as you hear a metallic sound, it means that the drill touched the phone and you set your axis coordinate to 0. It was good enough. There is one problem left. I need some mechanical support for the connector inside the iPhone. I figure the screen will push down on the connector,
glue?
so it will be enough support in this direction, but I need support
That's
in
not
the
a-
same direction
no,
as
it's not
when
a
I
good
plug in a
thing.
cable. To do this, I use a 3D printed part that I designed precisely
Oh my God!
so that is held by the two adjacent screws.
More 3D
I
printing.
assemble everything back.
Yo. He made a.
Custom
He printed a.
connector goes under the Taptic engine, bends 90 degrees and has vertical electronics. And then it bends 90 degrees again to bring the USB-C connector to the correct spot. I close the iPhone, the project is done. This
Oh
has been
my-
my biggest project so
Oh,
far.
it's so cool!
The support I received from you all, I am certain.
Oh,
that
this
it
is
not
so
the last.
cool!
I'm super motivated to tackle other similar projects.
Yo,
If you
what?
updated on them, please consider subscribing. You can also
Does
leave
he
a
have other stuff on his channel?
my next
Does he have other stuff? Because that was really good. Oh, he sold it? No, I want it. No, he should have just made them. He should have. He should have. He needs to sell off. And it's all, yeah, it's all open source. So we can get the boards. We can buy the board. We can make and buy the boards and put them in, and we can mod them. And like, hold on, I'm excited. Where's his Yeah, there's the GitHub. Let's read the GitHub. The not for iPhone USB-C mod. In theory, Apple could use this to make USB-C phones. Well, technically, but not really, because it's still a lightning adapter, so it's going at lightning speeds and lightning charging speeds, which is still not good in comparison to USB, not as good in comparison to the USB 3 speeds that we have already with USB-C. So it's not like you're gonna get like 65 watt USB-C charging out of this. You're not going to get an iPhone with 65 20 watt USB power delivery charging, but because you're like with the mod he's doing, you're still going at lightning speeds. The only reason why he did it is because you need it. He wanted he wanted the more reliable and he wanted the more reliableness of a USB-C connector, which is superior, which is entirely superior to a lightning cable. Do not at me. It is. Yeah, lightning's capped at USB 2. It's not like okay, but how about this? Imagine a iPhone. Sorry, almost dropped something. Imagine an iPhone that charges at 20 watts. Like, or even more. Like, Samsung, I don't know how fast is MagSafe charging? iPhone speed. What's the MagSafe charging speed? Oh, it is 20 watt. Get up to 15 15 watts of power, 12 watts. It's so minimum of 12. Okay, so it's basically 11, which is I think the fast standard anyway. But like you can pull some shit with actually, whoa, I just realized 20 watt charging it wirelessly. Holy shit. No, that's not cool. But imagine like just the better shit. I imagine slow since well, no, the magnets are there for on the iPhone to make sure it lines up properly with the charger, and then it does the optimal charging. So let me see if I can find the back back case. The new ones have the charging, right? No, I don't want the literal back case. I want... Oh, hold on, tear down. There, okay. So... Oh, thank God. It's an iFixit teardown. So we got the good shit. So... Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Oh, wait, no, that's not it. No, wait, is it? Oh, it is. Yeah, okay, no, it is. So the coil, the USB-C charge, not USB-C, the Qi charging coil is right here. Oh, they made this picture even better. And you can see these magnets here, and they're not interfering with the charging mechanism. They're just there to lock it in place, which is why they're calling it MagSafe. The magnets are a bitch, apparently, to take out. Yeah, see right there. And there's the coil. Okay. Back to video stuff. I'm very happy about this, and I want to see what this... Like, this is really good maker stuff, and the fact that people can... That we've all started to make, like, people have started to make custom PCBs for components and make new stuff with PCBs and have the things open source. It's really dope. Actually, speaking of, I want to show you guys a video. Hold on. Yeah, there's... You can make really neat stuff with, flexible PCBs. This guy does it a really good job. I love, his stuff. His tiny little jumping things, tiny little actuated. Like, they're all experiments, but, like, they're very, they're just very interesting. So look, here's a tiny
robot that works using my pancake PCB motor. So today we're going to try and do that.
So he made a tiny PCB motor, right? And now he's going to make a tiny little robot. Aren't it all that durable? Well, I mean, they're not if you keep doing it, but they're flexible. Oh wait, no, this is more for the PCB motor thing. He also made a device that was like a tiny little walking robot with the flexible PCB, which I thought was adorable. I'll show it after. yeah, look at that. Bluetooth.
On this tiny board, I managed to fit a Cortex M0 core microcontroller, which is integrated into this BLE module, a 9-axis IMU, 2 motor drivers, a 3.3 volts LDO, and 2 LEDs. This is the full schematic of the board, so everything you're seeing here was compressed into a 4-layer 15mm by 35mm PCB. So this is going to act as the brain of our robot, which is going to control 2 wheels powered by my 16mm diameter PCB stator. Now, as I've shown in my previous videos, these motors have very low torque, so I'm not exactly sure if it's capable of driving uphill or even on a flat surface. But I'm going to try and keep everything super light.
Like, even if you have like a even if you don't have like a technical understanding of what he's doing
the
a lot,
3D printed rotor
it's
wheels
still
have a
pretty
25
impressive looking.
millimeter diameter and are also narrow to reduce the friction.
It's this type of inventive stuff I just love.
I messed up one of the wheels while trying to solder the shaft. Soldering near those magnets is real hard to do. So now I 3D printed a new wheel and we'll see how this goes.
And now let's watch the boy roll.
Time for the first test. The voltage is at 4.2 volts. We're going to start with a wire test excluding the battery.
He's
kind of doing it.
He's moving. He's
PCB
grooving.
kind of wants to turn, so I think a battery might help us. The small 1-cell LiPo should be enough to power the robot. Ideally this would sit at the bottom to lower the center of gravity, but I made a mistake with the holder because the PCB had to be higher for the battery to fit. So instead I put it on the top.
Oh, look at him go! Look at him go! Look at the tiny boy go! Oh, he's spinning. Oh. Yeah! It's like a hex bug, except he made it. Oh, look at him
Now,
go!
if you didn't notice, the battery's connector was hitting the table. I reorganized the wires, and when I powered it, the main board just started spinning. The wheels were also becoming super wobbly. But before we talk about this problem, let's try to figure out how
Baby's
to stop
doing
the
its
body
best.
from spinning.
It's like
The
huge,
simplest
but not.
solution is to have a
It's tiny.
stopper. Although this works, it's an extra part, which I think can be eliminated by optimizing the robot's center of gravity. If we drive the robot super slow, the mass of the battery will eventually make it move
Tiny,
forward.
huge, yeah. He's the
I tried
boy's
to realign
walking.
the wheels to make them less wobbly, and the results were much better.
Oh, look at him go! Yeah! Look at the boy go! Oh, he's cute.
Then I tried to make the body heavier and shift its center of gravity. This made the robot more stable as the main board was no longer rotating.
My boy, the boy's rolling. Look at him go.
In all these tests, I was driving the two wheels at the same speed, so the robot should always have been moving straight. But sometimes it was doing unintentional turns, which was probably happening because of the wobbly wheels. I thought it was going to be okay using 3D printed PLA wheels, but with time the bearings and magnets just started getting loose. The plastic holder also started expanding with heat. This wobbly wheel error can be compensated for with the IMU yaw data. But that will involve a lot of tweaking, so before I do that I need to make sure that the mechanical system is robust. And that's what I'm planning to do in the next video. Milling a new metallic rotor, testing a new shaft mount, and try to make the motor more efficient. So if you don't want to miss that, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I hope to see you in the next video, guys.
It's so
Bye-bye.
cute. Like, so, what, like, he did, like, a robot with tiny little fins. Like, he made this giant, like, the big thing about the PCB motor, and I just thought it was so neat because it was so tiny of a motor. I mean, like, I know it doesn't do a lot, but, like... Oh, okay, let's find... Where's that one tiny one? There's a walkie boy here he made. PCB Robot Mark III? I've never seen that one. Oh, and then, yeah, and then there's the flexible PCB boy. Flex spot. Yeah. Oh yeah, he made a video about the engineering for the better motor. But I don't think he's seen like we've seen like a car, just yet. But let's watch.
Okay,
what's
so
the
I
tiny
need to give you a
boys?
little update on my PCB robot. If you remember in the last video I made about it, I grew impatience of waiting for the new battery, so I just decided to cut 2 of its legs to try and make it lighter. Now this worked okay, but the real game changer was this pivot over here. Since then I've continued working on the software. Now I can control it even wirelessly with Bluetooth. I am pairing my robot with my phone, and using this Smart app I am accessing the Get database to write different commands to the robot so that it can make different movements. But there's a tiny little problem. The robot is not moving with the same energetic behavior that it had. So what the heck happened? There are only 2 things that changed from the last test. To access the programming pins and flash the new software, I had to unglue the battery and then glue it back on. Not in the same position. The battery is not symmetrical, so it may be the case that the center of gravity of the robot slightly shifted, which may be creating a different turning force. The other thing that can be causing this problem is the battery's 200 mAh limit, which is now being exceeded because I am also powering the Bluetooth module, and this is again creating a voltage drop. So what my robot needs are new batteries.
Yeah, don't do that.
I only had 2 specs for my battery. It had to be under 3 grams and it had to output at least 400 milliamps. This is not very common, and in fact I only found 2.
Bad
Both of these batteries are usually used in small model aircraft.
Look how tiny that
thing
thing
their
is.
ratings are, but they are the only hope that we have. Another
Tiny
thing I
baby
need to mention
battery.
is that they are missing the battery protection chip, so we need to add that in the future schematics. For this 2-legged version, I decided to use the larger battery.
This is not
to
tiny
produce
little
an effective
danger.
turning force. So
These
now
are
that
the
we
most
have
tiny
soldered
little
the
like
new battery,
danger
I want to see
gushers.
how its location affects the locomotion of
I
the
think
robot.
I'll call them danger
I'm
gushers
going
from
to
now
record and
on.
compare these 9 different battery positions.
We're watching tiny little wobbly boys go. Go, 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 go.
This test shows us how sensitive the robot is to the position of the battery. Basically, it's either forcing it to rotate around or forcing it to go straight. And even when it's going straight, it's not always the same behavior. In one case it's going too slow, the other too fast and drifting to the left, and in the last case we hit the sweet point.
Look at him go. What is that very
The
tiny
reason why I
battery?
think this managed to work is because we might have just balanced the mass of the battery equally across the bottom pivot. Now this is not really desirable because powering the other leg means that we're going to have a completely different behavior.
But look at him go.
Having the robot rely on the position of the battery is not something I really want if I want to consider it for a swarm application. Just imagine trying to manufacture thousands of these things. Mount the battery a few millimeters away and the robot's behavior is completely different from the last one. Now I'm not sure if I'm criticizing it too much. I mean, I managed to make this one-off sort of go straight, but the fun part of the engineering process is finding defects in your inventions and coming up with solutions how to resolve those issues. So how can we redesign this robot to make its locomotion independent from the battery? It's not an easy task to do when you consider that the battery is taking a huge chunk of the robot's weight. I think that the next logical step is to try and test it with the lighter battery, which is only taking around 35% of the robot's total weight, and see what happens.
Oh, there's a smaller battery now. It's such a weight-dependent thing. I do hope it kind of works though. Because he's just finagling with the positioning. Oh? Oh, it's close.
The lighter battery has made zero improvements whatsoever. This basically proves that in the previous test, the robot was moving because of the position and weight of the battery. I have also tested this on the 4-legged version, and same shitty results were observed.
This robot has the good vibes.
So I'm really running out of options. Do you remember this test? This is a test I made in the first video where I powered the robot with 5 volts. And there was a huge noticeable difference when powering the robot with 3.7 volts, because the coils were being driven with twice the power. So this is the only option we have left, but before starting about Mark IV, I want to go back and do some tests to see if I'm going to reduce the number of turns, or increase the copper thickness, or even step up the voltage. I will do all these tests in another video, but I have also been working on another PCB robot configuration, which I'm very excited about and hopefully will work better than this. So I will be sharing that in the next few weeks, so stay tuned if you don't want to miss it. Bye.
Yeah. So there's another one he made, which I still think is the cutest boy. Physics of miniature robotics with alternate movement. Yeah. Like here's the cutest boy I've seen him make.
This video is sponsored by Altium 365.
This one
Hi guys, what's up? Carbujea here.
is a flexible PCB robot.
Talk about Project Flexbot. This is a project that I've been working on for forever. So in this video, I'm going to try and jam-pack all the things that I made and all the lessons that I learned. The idea started in 2018 when I made this very dumb paper robot. It could only move straight without any directioning, so it was totally useless. But behind this experiment I had a more elegant concept, because by adding another coil it could in theory act as a second leg. Attracting one magnet to the coil while repelling the other should result in a turning motion. While if we repel both magnets, the robot should move forward. Keep in mind that this is not the best methodology to make a robot work, because ideally we would have more axes of motion. But here we're trying to look at the simplest solution. And the results were promising, but given that it was entirely made out of paper, I couldn't test if it could actually work or not. I mean, it needed to be self-powered with onboard electronics to be even feasible. That's when I started considering replacing the paper with a flexible PCB and have all the electronics mounted on board.
So there's the flexible PCBs and the tiny boys.
For this first prototype, I tried to keep the electronics simple, so that I could keep the robot light and focus on testing the walking technique. In fact, the schematics only consisted from a BLE integrated microcontroller, an RGB indication LED, 2 H-bridge drivers, a LiPo battery charger, and a switch. All these circuits worked, but there was still a couple of issues with the overall design. Let's start with the first issue. I embarrassingly had a wire moved over a pad with the track disconnected. I might have missed it because the coil had no net associated with it. I solved this issue by scraping the solder mask and shorting the track with solder.
Oh, oops.
Problem number 2.
He messed up
all
something.
the electronics were mounted on the flexible PCB without anything to protect them from bending and breaking the soldering joints. The third issue is related to the hinge. My plan was to solder the two pads together to fold the PCB in half. So both of these pads were supposed to be slotted, but I accidentally forgot to export their drill file. I punched a little hole in these pads to make them usable.
I fixed it by scraping. Yeah, as I fixed it by scraping it.
The radius was dangerously small. Keeping the pads unsoldered also wasn't an option because the coils would be too far away from the magnets to get attracted. So keeping all these problems in mind, I decided to start over. I started by redesigning the folding hinge. And after I was satisfied with that, I made sure that all my electronics was going to fit. And it actually didn't. So I also decided to make some changes to the circuit. I replaced the 2 H-bridge drivers with a new smaller device. And I also decided to remove the battery charger because we can always charge the battery externally.
Like, I don't know anything about like PCB design. I kind of want to.
To keep the
but
electronics rigid,
for
I
maker
added the
purposes, but
stiffener on
like
both sides. And this is how the final
cute.
design looked like.
But I mean, but it looks
I
so cool.
manufactured this board at PCBWay, and it looked totally slick.
Looks like a butterfly
The first thing that
or something
I was
edible.
curious
I want
about
to eat
was
it.
obviously the folding hinge, and from a first impression, it totally looked like things were going to work.
This stuff hurts my head more than quants. Like, I don't understand it as much, but like I understand some like concepts about it, but never enough to actually make it go really into practice. These are like some days I wish to be an electronics engineer, sometimes I don't. And then when I'm a hobbyist, I have to learn certain electronic engineering stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Oh.
Okay, so at this point, FlexBot Mark II was ready for its first walking test.
Look how tiny it is.
But that did not go entirely as planned.
Aww.
You see, all the three problems I mentioned before were practically solved with this new design, but there was one important fact that I completely overlooked. If we take a look again at the paperbot, it stands still on label. FlexBot has a completely different behavior because it naturally wants to open up. And the force of this unfolding action was also overcoming the coil's magnetic field to attract the magnets. To try and solve this issue, I tried playing around with different battery positions, but this barely had any effect. So the only way to solve this problem is by somehow limiting the angle of the hinge. And we can only do that by either bringing the coil closer to the magnet or the magnet closer to the coil, e.g. by using larger magnets. I started by using some electrical tape to reduce the angle, and after a couple of tries, FlexBot finally showed some sign of movement. But the tape wasn't that reliable, so instead I decided to put some glue on the hinge. And slowly it started moving.
Look at him go!
I controlled the speed by changing the coil's driving frequency.
Wee. Look at him go!
From this test, we can basically conclude that the robot loves spinning around, and that's instability. So my next task was to try and understand why the robot was spinning around instead of moving forward. This may have happened because of multiple reasons. The two glued hinge sides may not be 100% the same. The robot's mass distribution could also be affecting.
I put a battery
and if the magnets
on paper
are
and
not
did
properly
donuts.
aligned at the center of the coil, they may be producing different forces. I first tried to fix this walking issue through software by driving the two coils with different duty cycles. This way we could kind of reduce the coil's magnetic field strength of the right leg and stop the robot from rotating anti-clockwise. But it didn't work as I hoped because it basically made it stop.
Come on. Try your he's trying his best. He's trying his best.
Just to make sure that the surface was not affecting, I also made a test on glass, but the results were not that much different. Then I decided to add tiny magnets to reduce the actuating distance. During this test I was testing different frequencies and duty cycles, and I think there was a slight improvement in the behavior, especially for the two extra magnet scenario.
Look at him go.
After seeing this test, I was convinced that the best way forward was to change these tiny cylindrical magnets to a bigger rectangular one. This way we would be free to reduce the actuating distance and also eliminate the magnet misalignment issue, because with the rectangular magnet the whole area of the two coils would be covered. But this solution alone wasn't enough, so then I decided to make some changes related to this issue. I tested different battery positions, but during one of the tests I accidentally shorted the battery, and it got all puffed up.
Oh.
I didn't have another battery that size, so instead I used a slightly heavier one. And after running the same test and putting the battery in the middle front part, the robot started going straight.
Yeah, look at him go.
most of the time because sometimes it deviated.
Look at him go. Woo! Again, it's like a hex bug. Love this boy. Sometimes the best robots are not usually the large ones.
But
Maybe
I
they're
still
the
couldn't
maybe they're
control
the tiny
robot
ones.
to turn left or right. And this is where I'm currently at. So can this concept be improved? I tried experimenting with some other random things. I first removed the glue from the hinge and added larger magnets. This way we should increase the magnetic field and also reduce the actuating distance. But this didn't work.
I don't know
at all.
Hexbugs
So
outside
I
the
then
story
tried
is so
cutting part of
losing
the
what
foldable hinge, but the robot would still tend to open up.
They're just,
I also left a PCB
you know,
folded for a day or two.
tiny
and the same thing
little,
happened. So I think to solve this
it's
issue, we have to
basically
make
just
the
vibrating
foldable
things
hinge
that just
area
kind of
thinner,
move
which can
along,
be
and you
easily
put
done
them on
by
tracks.
removing the top and bottom solder mask regions.
They're very
to make
cute.
the robot flappier, we can also remove the stiffener of the coils area. And instead of gluing the hinge, you can also add a solder pad to connect the two sides together. I'm quite sure that all these changes would improve the concept, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, it's like little
whether it's worth it
tubes
to
or
make a
something.
marquee
Like, we
version,
can look
because
up
I thought
a
that this robot was
Hexbug
going to
commercial
work
if you
much
want.
better, and I also think that there are other flexible PCB robot concepts that could be much simpler than this solution. But I would still love to know what you think about this, and especially about
What
the changes
nerdy
I
shit
just
are we on
mentioned.
tonight, my good
It
mage?
might
We
be
are
better to
on
add another
the
coil
level
and
of
have two
nerdy shit
individual
that
legs
involves
instead of two combined legs.
tiny little
It would
flexible
sort of look like
robots
a
that
miniaturized version
moves
of
around.
TARS, the robot from Interstellar. Before I end this, I would like to talk about Altium 365.
Sponsor. Skip that. So like Hexbugs, the original ones are like it's these. It's these tiny things.
First annual Hexbug Nano 500. Our contenders today are as follows: Party Hat Pat, Red Fred, the Blue Tooth, Orange You Glad I Didn't Say Nano Again, Green, and Zombie Dave. The challengers will be making their way through the course's obstacles.
We really are just, oh my god. We really are just watching this.
Through the spider's nest. Then over a pit of lava. Careful, it's hot. Next, they'll cross the snaking
I haven't
path,
seen these in ages.
slingshot through outer space.
They still sell them.
Dive into the money pit.
And they're like
past
really
the
still
path of
super
light,
cute.
Under the straw bridge, down the final stretch, and over the finish line.
Okay, I've never seen this video. What's
Go! And right out of the gate
what's
goes
your
the
money
commotion.
on?
Let's see who'll make it out. It looks like Bluetooth and Zombie Dave. Bluetooth fearing for his life through the spider's
look at him
nest,
go.
making quick work of that spicy swimming pool below. This race
So they
could
put
be
legs
over
on a-
before you know it, folks.
Yeah.
Party Pat following close behind. Let's check back
They
with our
basically
leader.
put
Oh, and it
a
looks like Blue has been
a vibrating motor
disoriented
on a
Party Pat bringing up the rear,
double
and he
A,
takes the lead.
and then just added
Skating
plastic
through
to
the
make it
cosmos,
kind
straight
of
into the money pit.
go
Temptation
around.
is no match for this party goer.
Oh my god, look at Party Hat.
Now, making his way past the path of light. Oh, and he's down!
No.
The party might have just ended early. Zombie Dave showing some
Zombie
style in
Dave
second place.
is-
Red Fred looking to pass, and he does!
Dave
Moving
is
into second
holding
place,
up the
blazing
back,
past
and
the
that's a
path of
fen-
light.
and it's
Party
fucked
Pat
up.
is in trouble, and just
Oh.
like that, Red Fred takes the
Yo.
lead and crosses the finish line with a show
Okay.
of acrobatics.
Is
Pat
is
doing
Pat
everything
second?
he can,
Pat
but
second?
Orange out of
Pat
nowhere
second?
flies past into second, followed
Yeah!
by Party Pat. With that, we have our winners. Green coming in fourth.
What an upset.
Zombie Dave trudging
This is
along
like
as well as you could
Dave-
expect from the undead. He may be here for a while.
I'm surprised
This
Dave actually is
thin
making
Bluetooth
it.
has been disqualified in the money pit.
Aw.
Someone get him out of there.
Oh my
That's our winnings. That's it for this race. Here are your
Dave
final
got
standings.
screwed.
Red Fred in first, Orange You Whatever in second, and Party Pat in third. Thank you for watching the 2020 Hexbug Nano 500. We'll see you next year. Good night.
They're just tiny. Oh, by the way, they have a sponsorship with BattleBots. Like seriously. Like no like seriously? Like seriously. Like they make them. They make these toys.
It's robot fighting time. BattleBots
Like-
rivals Platinum. You can chop and saw with Sawblaze or flip and slash with Whiplash. With rechargeable batteries and dual-action weapons, you can unlock even more robot fighting power. Hexbug BattleBots. These sold separately.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I think we've talked about this. I want one. I want one so bad. Look, there's a tiny tombstone. There's a tiny tombstone. BattleBot YouTuber win. That would be very complicated to do, but I bet I could do it. Like, here's like they did a little review of from Team Scorpios.
Toy review.
Woo! Toys
And like
adults! Yay!
And this is the one I know everyone's been waiting for. This is
Scorpios v Hydra.
that would be awesome. Hexbug, Scorpios v Hydra. We'd like that.
like there's Minotaur,
This is
you see Whiplash, Sawblaze, Witch Doctors in there.
And speaking of slashing, it's time to open the box.
No!
Yo, this dude's one of the yo-yo. Yeah, no, he's the lead. This is from Team Scorpios' channel. Like, he's the captain.
Wait, what are you gonna go get?
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Boom.
Now, this is what you call an unboxing.
I opened the box.
Why? You cut the instructions in half.
You don't need those. You build the big ones.
I always assumed the BBC Robot Wars was the first. I think Robot Wars was actually second.
We found one of these on Target store shelves.
No way.
You can see it was $69.99, and the
Shut
big
the
arena
front door.
was $120. These prices are a little expensive, but as you're about to see, they're a much higher quality toy. These are the 3 pieces that pop off of Whiplash.
Ooh.
They're held on by magnets.
Hey, who wants to buy me
And the front wedges are
BattleBot
actually
for my
flippy,
birthday?
so they can actually really get under other bots.
My birthday's the
No, it's so
25th.
they can talk to each other.
I'm just saying.
The wheels are a really nice rubber. It actually feels like the same rubber that the Vasquez's actually use. And it's really grippy. It does slow down its turning a little bit because the wheels just grab the floor so well.
Is grippy a technical term? I feel like it's a technical term.
I think it's a technical term.
That's
Grippy!
You can see they have the same idler, just like the real Whiplash. It's kind of awesome. And
Awesome sauce.
and you can see the Fast Electronics logo printed here in the center. All the printing, all the sponsor labels is just spot on. Even where the screws go is accurate.
Button!
And there's the power
So
button.
it has the same pairing process that all the
They're
Hexbug
tiny.
toys have, where it listens to the first radio. The left button controls the spin, and the right
Oh,
button
94, huh?
Do you even lift, bro? This one does.
You only have to push it once, and it auto
Oh,
returns.
it lifts up and down.
And you can see what I mean about the turning
Do a
here.
little dance.
Now, my favorite part of these new Hexbugs,
Is slamming into the wall.
well, the
Or the
rechargeable
screw.
batteries have made them faster. And
Oh, the other wall. Ooh, the screw.
I love they actually self-right. Look at
It
that.
self-rights?
Just
Like
like,
a cheat.
Oh!
just like the real Whiplash.
Yo!
It's amazing. Boop. Now,
Sawblaze, slash and burn. Hi, brother in Saw.
the other Sawbot.
Brother in Saw.
That one's really
The decaling
good.
is
too.
amazing, and I can't believe they even have the proper grip pattern in the tires. The tread, even that part is spot on. Every little decal, every little spot.
We really are just
Very
watching
glad to
toy
see another
reviews.
hammer saw. Maybe this means Hexbug will do Scorpios next.
Like they're okay. Well,
But all the wedges are hinged. Actually, in two.
these are science adjacent.
The 3 parts that come off are the right panel, the left panel, and the back plate. They're actually
Ooh.
held on really securely. It's pretty tough to get them to fall off in combat.
It's because of the magnets.
It's because of the magnets. And this one, it feels like you can drive the arm backwards and
Said
forwards.
toy
But the
reviews.
Whiplash, I would not recommend it. It has the same controls as Whiplash, where the left button controls the blade on and off, and the right button
Slam! Slam!
swings the arm. It's auto retract just like Whiplash's, and
Slam! Slam!
and you can use them
Slam.
together.
Slam!
They're so cute. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's a tiny rotator too. Like they have a ton of them, and they're really cute. And some of these are like relatively like new, you know? Like, yeah. Sawblaze and Whiplash was only super recent. And then they have like little toy stuff, and they actually have like talks with some of the BattleBots guys for it. Oh yeah, hey look.
Unleash the power of Hexbug BattleBots.
Look,
you can control
there's
the
Duck.
flipper or chop the competition
There's
with rotating
Duck,
dual
the
spinning
best
blades.
one.
Master your bot, then master the BattleBots.
And there's Bite Force
Hexbug
and stuff.
BattleBots. Each sold separately.
Yeah, there's Duck. This is cute. Tiny little... You got Duck.
The closest
Look at him. I love Duck.
lowers the arm. While it's fantastic to get independent controls for both up and down, it's somewhat awkward.
Like, can you self-write as Duck?
Which is enough to toss it over.
You can
A
self-write as
further
Duck.
drawback to this weapon setup.
It's so cute. They're all really cute. Anyway. I want one of these. I want one of these so bad. They're so dang cute. What's the next video? We have a couple things. Why scammers can send fake emails from the WHO. Yeah, it's a flat duck. We love the flat duck.
Hello?
This is about, I think this video is about scamming, which is interesting. Early self-writing was a huge thing and everyone was pressed. Well, I mean, yeah, the robots were heavy as hell, and I mean, I can't like lift myself. Like, I don't have this. I don't have the strength to even lift, like, do a pull-up with my own body weight. So doing that for a 250-pound robot, I'm pretty sure is already incredibly impressive. And it always is
First
when you
things
see
first, check your email.
I got one. Fake Dylan at WHO. This is WHO's real domain, right? WHO.int.
Yeah, so Fake Dylan is a internet security researcher that I worked with to send all of our emails a bunch of fake messages. And he was able to send these messages from the real WHO domain.
I'm going to say I'm coming to you from my new job in the World Health Organization. I spent all my money moving to Geneva, Switzerland. Please can you send me some Bitcoin to tide me over? And it might say, this is a joke in our example here, but the more serious ones would be like, there's an urgent new coronavirus warning from, the WHO.
As the number of coronavirus cases increases, so too do internet scams and hoaxes.
Real-looking emails supposedly from the World Health Organization and CDC.
Asking for money. These agencies do not ask for direct donations by email.
How did
If
they
you
do
click
it
on a
with the
link or
actual
download an attachment from those emails,
domain?
you could be giving hackers your personal information.
Sounds interesting.
So what we're looking at here is domain spoofing, and we're seeing it a lot with respect to coronavirus in particular.
So this really has been totally unprecedented.
I've never
the teams
heard
have
about
never
domain
seen
spoofing
anything
before, or
like
this type of
in
domain
terms of a
spoofing.
single
Spoof.
lure uniting all different types
Spoofing.
of actors behind a single real pretext for people to do all kinds of things, whether it's actually just steal their password, what we call credential phishing, whether it's install malware.
So this is just one example sent from what looks like a WHO email address. just
This
like
already
an
looks
APA.
sus, but
Clearly
okay.
it's trying to get you to download a specific file that they have sent. And researchers at IBM found that this attachment contains malware that captures screenshots and logs your keystrokes and steals usernames and passwords.
Beware of criminals pretending to be WHO.
So they've published guidance on this, and they are aware that this is happening, but it's top advice, it's number one advice, is verify the sender by checking their email address. We know that that's pretty easy to fake at this point.
Wow, I'm surprised they don't point that out, because people might think that if it has a who.int address, that means it's legitimate, but really it's like necessary but not a sufficient condition.
Correct, yeah. What I found super interesting was that we tried spoofing a bunch of domains and only some of them went through to be in Vox. So the CDC and the Vox emails didn't, but the WHO and the whitehouse.gov emails did.
Oh.
And I should say, it was only the Yahoo emails that we set up. The Gmail and Outlook emails both put them in spam.
Oh.
So I've been looking into this, and it seems like the greater context around this is that when email was created back in the 80s, no one bothered to make any way to verify that the sender is who they say they are.
Except
really, it is the foundational technologies of the internet being built with no security in mind and no central database of who is who that gives rise to this problem.
And since then, there have been lots of attempts to sort of build this sort of verification system.
PGP?
The problem is just that the participation is not as high as it should be. So to make sense of this, it might help to think about another type of verification problem, which is that society doesn't want teenagers to get into bars to buy alcohol. To prevent that from happening, we need two things. We need a way to verify ages, which is our ID system, and we need businesses to then check for IDs. Now, imagine if that ID system was voluntary.
Oh my god.
So you have a bunch of adults who
My elite motion stopped working.
Then when they come to the bar, the business basically has a decision to make. Either they require IDs knowing full well that plenty of legitimate adults don't have one, or to avoid pissing people off, they just let them in, and maybe they end up letting in some kids too. And probably every bar is going to make a slightly different decision. That's kind of where we're at with email authentication right now. We have an ID system, it's called DMARC, but it's voluntary. So if an email comes in with my email address, joss@vox.com, the email service, whether
Why haven't I
that's
heard of
Yahoo
this?
or Outlook or Gmail, is going to check if that domain, vox.com, has a DMARC record. And we do. Thankfully, Vox took the time to set up a DMARC record, which basically does three things. First, it says that the email has to come from a certain set of IP addresses that Vox trusts. Second, it says that the email has to carry a unique signature that only Vox can create. And third, it says that if the email fails either of those two tests, then the email service receiving the email should reject it, should just throw it away so that it never reaches anybody's inbox. Because of that, my Vox email address, your Vox email address, we can't be easily impersonated. Okay, so say an email comes in from a domain that doesn't have a DMARC record, or has set their DMARC policy to something other than reject. That email is going to have a higher chance of getting through. Now, the email providers all have spam filters. They have these algorithms that are looking through these emails to check and see if anything's fishy. But obviously that didn't stop Dylan's fake email from getting into my Yahoo inbox. I would guess that the WHO does not have a strong DMARC policy set up, if they have one at all.
Okay, there's actually a way that we can double check this. Here's Vox first.
Oh, nice.
It has this nice little green box that comes up, but this is the actual DMARC record. V equals DMARC 1, P equals reject. So this is telling us that our policy is reject this email. And this is true also, I think, of, the CDC as well.
What about the White House?
Yeah, let me try the White House. Okay, so the White House has published a DMARC record, but if you look at it, P equals none, meaning that they're not telling email providers to reject emails that come from other IP addresses or that generally are not from their approved domain senders. The weird thing about that, so this is their guidance on what all federal agencies are supposed to do. All agencies are required to, within 1 year after issuance of this directive, set a DMARC policy of reject for all second-level domains and mail sending hosts.
Let me guess.
So the White House is violating its own policy.
Yep, there it
At
is.
the very least, they're acknowledging that a DMARC policy of reject is the strongest protection, and it is very clear that they are not using that protection. So now let's try the WHO.
Oh, not protected against impersonation attacks.
They have not published a DMARC record at all.
Uh-oh.
And I can understand, like, the WHO has a lot on their hands right now. They're basically leading the global effort against this giant pandemic. But damn, it really seems like they should have done this.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, it's not like the WHO is alone in this. There's this report by Ballymail that shows that less than 15% of domains with DMARC have actually set their policy to reject spoofed emails or send them to spam.
There's kind of an incentive issue at play, which is that you publish the record to protect other people from being phished. And the trade-off there is that if you don't configure it properly, and it does take some work to set up correctly, you risk some of your emails not being delivered.
I think that the WHO is in a tough spot right now because it is incredibly important in this moment that their emails get through. And also there's an increase in the risk that it's coming from a fake domain and that, you know, maybe they have some more responsibility than they might have before in terms of protecting people from fake emails.
Yeah, hey, do it for us, because we're all, you know, vulnerable out here on the internet looking for information.
It is the sort of thing that every good citizen of the internet should do, but you know, like eating your vegetables and working out every day. It's not something that every organization
So long
does.
story short, make sure you are actually like paying attention to who emails you and what's like super not sus or not. Wow, we're almost at the end. We had a lot of content today. It was nice. The next two are about some nerd stuff. This one is
Today,
about
most people spend at least 60% of their day on their smartphone or
old,
other related devices. And while
PDA
we
that
seem to
kind of
become
started
more
everything
and more
about.
addicted, it's really interesting to take a look
Started
at
everything
what
in
the
regarding
predecessor to our smartphone crazed era was. Yo guys, it's Luke, and this is Retro Review 3.
It's already great because it has transparent plastic. That's all I'm saying.
So most of you have probably heard of the Palm Pilot, but what many people don't know is that the company eventually split off to form the company Handspring. But in order to understand this, we have to go back in time a bit. So in 1992, Jeff Hawkins founded the company Palm and went on to hire Donna Dubinsky and Ed Colligan. Together, they would be the ones to invent the Palm Pilot. Now fast forward to 1998, Jeff and his colleagues were not satisfied with where parent company 3Com was taking Palm and decided to form a new company, Handspring. And in September of 1999, they released the Handspring Visor Solo, a Palm Pilot-like PDA that was supposed to be faster and easier to use than anything on the current market. Now, what's really interesting about the Handspring Visor was that it was the first third-party product to run the famed Palm OS. This made it really appealing to those who were not yet convinced with Palm's current offerings, but still wanted the flexibility that Palm OS offered. Now, the version that I have today is slightly upgraded Handspring Visor Deluxe, and the only difference between this and the original Solo was the extra 6 megabytes of RAM and the different color options. Now, the original Solo also shipped with 2 megabytes of RAM and ran on a blazing fast Freescale Dragon Ball processor. This was really the predecessor to the modern smartphone. Now, most PDAs at the time had an IR port, but with the Visor Deluxe, Handspring moved the IR port to make room for their widely popular Springboard expansion slot.
Dragon Ball?
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
in
apparently.
2019, I was unable to secure an expansion card, but to my understanding, the expansion cards gave the Visor different abilities like gaming, GPS, cameras, Wi-Fi cards, MP3 players, etc.
It's so cool
Basically turning
looking.
this already really powerful device into a fully fledged computer companion.
Like a friend was telling me like
Another
how it
great
looked
selling
like
point
a
of the Palm was the inclusion of USB. Now at the time,
like
most
a-
PDAs used a proprietary connector
like
to
a Game Boy.
connect to
It was
the
inspired
computer.
by a Game Boy.
But with the Visor, you just plugged it into the dock and then into the computer. It was also one of the first PDAs to work directly with Mac OS. Now this was especially huge because Apple's PDA Newton had just been discontinued a year before. Now, like the Newton, the Visor ran the handwriting recognition software Graffiti just as other Palm devices had before. And at the time, Graffiti was the industry standard. Now, using it today definitely feels a bit antiquated, but for the time, this was really useful as it allowed people to fairly quickly write out words on their device. And while it's definitely hard to get too used to now, it actually works pretty well. In fact, if you would like to try this out for yourself, you can download a version of it on the Google Play Store. It's incredibly similar, and if you were a Handspring user in the past, you will definitely love this.
I need to make myself like a more 80s
So
technology
what's it like
inspired
using the
outfit or
Visor in 2019?
bit
Well,
more
to be honest,
transparent.
it's kind of rough. Now, obviously, I wasn't really expecting much, but the Visor actually really surprised me.
You had a Palm in high school,
Time,
like
it really
yo.
held up well. Now, that might be due to the fact that I got a relatively unscathed one, but it's still really fast for what it's worth. Moving through menus was really responsive, and while I'm not entirely sure how to use the handspring now, I can definitely see how it was useful in the early 2000s. Instead of picking up your phone and dialing a number, you would just pick up your handspring and search for your list of contacts to find the right one, and then dial the number on a separate phone. Now, while the visor isn't that useful today, I'm still very impressed with the overall form factor, design, speed, and seemingly reliability that visor offered. Compared to its historical competitors, it was also priced affordably. The visor Solo came in at $149, and that was well under the competitor Palm 3E that sold for $229. Now, the Deluxe was indeed a little bit more expensive at $249, but it had an extra 6 megabytes of RAM, as I mentioned before, making this device capable of storing much more than the Solo. The point is the visor was well priced, well designed, and beat out most of the competition, and it's really cool to see what smartphones were like before they were smartphones. Now, as cool as the handspring is, this video has got to end sometime, so that's going to wrap it up for this one. Let me know what device you want to see in the next installment of Retro Reviews.
So much longer,
This is Liquid Techno in it, and until next time, peace.
Like, Palms are cool. I remember people on flip phone, iPod Shuffle, and MP3. Like, yeah, I had, I think, a feature phone that could connect to the internet and a 256 megabyte MP3 player when I was a kid. And I always wanted like why do my hands keep like reversey? Come on. It's trying. It's trying really bad. I think it's because I switched something. But yeah, man, I miss those days. There we go. I miss those days so much. Well, sorta, just like a tiny bit. Although the only amount of music I could store on my music player was like 3 gigs or something. So, or no, it was like 3 songs basically. So it wasn't that great. Here's the last video for today that we have, which is the Apple IIe on a card. Neat.
The dawn of the personal computer age really started around 1977 with the introduction of the Commodore PET, Apple II, and TRS-80. Now, these were the first truly affordable computers that didn't require a customer to assemble it from a kit. All 3 of these computers had some success in the education market, but during the 1980s, Apple managed to almost completely take over the educational market from Commodore, Tandy, and even IBM. And this strategy was good for Apple as it meant that students who learned on Apple computers might be more likely to buy an Apple themselves when the time came. The Apple II series was manufactured from 1977 all the way to 1993, and that's around 16 years, a pretty impressive lifespan. Even the Commodore 64 didn't last that long. Of course, in 1984, Apple introduced the Macintosh, which they figured would eventually replace the Apple II. However, sales weren't what they initially hoped, and the Apple II continued to keep the company afloat for many years after its introduction. In 1986, Apple released the successor to the Apple II, the Apple II GS. Now, this was a 16-bit computer, and while it does bear the name of the Apple II series, it's actually almost a completely different architecture, featuring vastly improved graphics and sound and a faster CPU.
That's Lemmings.
Just about everything about it was improved. However, there's one particular chip I want to bring to your attention. All of the chips on the board are labeled with their functions. So for example, this one says it's for sound, these here say they're ROM, this one's clearly a graphics chip, and so on. But what is this chip here labeled Mega 2? Well, believe it or not, this chip basically contains almost an entire Apple IIe motherboard on a single chip. Now that doesn't include things like the CPU and RAM, but basically everything else. Now, this chip allows
80s almost featuring leg warmers. Oh, I would have totally.
However,
why do
as
my
you can
arms
see by the timeline here, the Apple II GS never entirely replaced the Apple II systems, and in fact, ironically, it was discontinued a year before the IIe. Apple also had a really expensive desktop called the Macintosh II, but it saw very little success in the education market. Many school districts had invested heavily in the Apple II and 2GS systems, and the vast majority of software they used in the classrooms was designed for the original Apple II. And so it could be difficult to convince some schools to upgrade to Macintosh computers because they would no longer be able to use the large library of Apple II software. In 1990, Apple released the Macintosh LC, which stands for low cost, and this finally gave schools, businesses, and home users an option for a Macintosh computer that had color and an affordable price tag. But the LC also had something else.
Oh, the monitor was
Inside it
separate?
had something called a PDS slot.
Okay.
In time, there would be a variety of peripherals designed for this slot, including Ethernet cards and processor upgrades, and of course, the topic of this video, the Apple IIe
Oh,
card.
that's so many ports.
Taking a closer look at the card, this large chip here is called the Gemini chip. Now, this is actually a slightly revised version of the Mega 2 chip that I showed earlier in the Apple IIGS. So again, it's basically most of the logic chips of an Apple IIe combined into a single chip. This next chip here is a 65C02 microprocessor. Now, it looks a little different from the earlier models because it's in a square package instead of the usual dip package.
Miniaturization nowadays is
now,
like
128K is used by the Apple IIe system.
like miniaturization then is still pretty impressive that they could fit all this shit in there. And here in Discord.
And this chip over here is called an IWM, or an integrated WAS machine.
Have you seen Poly AlphaNet? I am
drive controller all integrated into a single
Excuse me. You're asking if I've seen Poly AlphaNet? Excuse me. I am a proud AlphaNet citizen, and you can't take that away from me ever. Like ever. I love her. I love them. They're so cool. I love them so much. We are both Poly AlphaNet sims. Okay, fine. I guess we are. S37. Whomst is this? Oh, they're live right now too.
What now, Commander?
I thought you rigged them for a second. I wish. I want a low poly model so bad. Because of them, I want a low poly model so dang bad. Oh, that is such a cute VTuber model. Oh, and they rigged it themselves. That's even better. You know what? We're gonna raid them in a minute. We're gonna raid them later. I wanted a low poly model.
chip. And so that's all the important stuff on the card. Now, what I'm going to do next is go ahead and install this into my Macintosh LC2 so we can try it out. On the back here, it has a proprietary connector where you can install this breakout cable. And one of the cable ends is for connecting to an Apple II disk drive, and the other end is for connecting to an Apple II joystick. Now, I'm going to go ahead and connect up a 5¼ inch floppy drive here since most Apple II software was distributed on this format.
With VTuber.
However, these drives can be daisy-chained. In fact, you can connect up to 3 drives to it, like this, including the 3.5 inch drives. And you can also make use of the internal disk drive as well, which technically makes 4. Okay, let's fire this thing up. I'm going to put in a fresh copy of the Oregon Trail. Unfortunately, I don't have an original of this disc. And I've already got the necessary software installed in Mac, so I'm just going to start the
send them
application.
In a minute
there
with
we
our
go.
Retro Tech 5.
So there's a few things I want to tell you about this. First of all, this always runs full screen. It cannot run in a window. Plus, the Macintosh is no longer multitasking any other applications during this time. Now, while the card is technically running the software on real hardware, it's not an emulation as such. The video, however, is technically emulated. The video is drawn by the Macintosh, and it is actually a little slower than the real video system on an Apple II. The audio, on the other hand, works a bit differently. I noticed something recently when looking at the schematics of an LC system that I was troubleshooting. This section here is basically the audio portion of the schematics, and this part here is the main sound chip, and its output goes down here to the amplifier portion of the circuit. But if we take a closer look at just the amplifier, you can see it has 2 sound sources, and the first one comes from the Macintosh's sound chip, and the second one down here actually says it comes from the PDS slot. So that means the Apple IIe card produces its own sound, and it goes straight to the amplifier. Anyway, let's see if we can set up a party here on the Oregon Trail. I'll enter my name as the 8-bit guy. It appears it won't accept numbers, so I'll have to spell it out. And I'll need some other people. Let's add LGR and Techmoan. Let's do Dr. Mix. Okay, well that won't fit, so I'll shorten it. Okay, and we need one more. How about Look Mom No Computer? And that sure won't fit, so I'll have to abbreviate that too. Okay, so we're going all the way back to 1848. I can only imagine the five of us trying to survive.
Now the train
Anyway, if you want to
begins.
exit the 2E session, you can press Control, Apple, and then Escape. And this will bring up the Preferences menu. And there are actually quite a few things that you can configure here about your emulated Apple IIe. For one thing, you can actually substitute native Mac sounds for the simple Apple II beep. And over here, you can set up memory expansion for the Apple II. And this will actually use a RAM from the Macintosh to emulate the memory expansion board. And you can pick anything from 256K to 1 megabyte. And here, you can change the settings for mouse emulation. Although, I'm not even sure I have any Apple II software that uses a mouse to even test this with.
Some of my favorite YouTubers I feel called out.
Yeah. This is one
they
of the
all
more
are
interesting
in their
ones,
little, like,
this allows you
old
to select a startup slot,
tech
but more importantly,
nerd
you can
circle
move things around. So these slots represent the 7 expansion card slots that you would have on an Apple II motherboard. And you can move things around to better suit certain software configurations, although most software is standardized on a certain layout, so I'm just going to leave it as is. And here's SmartPort. This emulates a SmartPort card, and you can select what sort of drives you would like the Macintosh to emulate. Right now, Drive 1 is the internal drive on the Macintosh LC. And then I have 2 ProDOS partitions mounted as well. Anyway, let me try some other software. Here is Donkey Kong. And
oh my. Oh god.
I can't figure out how to control this. I think it requires a joystick, which I don't currently have plugged in because at the moment, I can't find my Apple IIc joystick. Well, let's try something other than a game. I want to see if AppleWorks will load. We actually used this software back in my junior high in the computer lab on our Apple II systems, mostly for the word processing features so that we could type in our essays and things like that. However, it does work in 80 columns mode, and I wanted to see how that looked. It wants me to put in a date. I guess it's a good opportunity to see if AppleWorks is year 2000 compliant. So I'll just put in August 22nd of 2019. And nope, it doesn't like that. So I guess we'll put in March 20th, 1986. Okay, well, other than that, it appears to be working fine. The 80 columns is actually more readable here than it would be on the original composite monitors. Of course, that's the thing about the video here. The video looks almost too good, and that's because it is being emulated, and thus it looks almost just like a modern emulator. So I want to try a few other things, including BASIC. I'll just write a little program here.
Y2K, yeah, Y2K
okay,
was
I
real.
wanted to try was increasing the speed. So apparently, the emulated Apple II can run at 1 megahertz or 1.9 megahertz. So I'm going to put it into fast mode. Surprisingly, I don't see much difference here, and I suspect that's because the bottleneck here is the screen drawing routine, which I have read is actually slower than a real Apple II. So maybe some other programs that do more number crunching would speed up more. There's another interesting feature I want to try. I'm going to load up Ultima 4 here.
I love how he's doing them all wearing an Apple Watch. Yeah, an Apple Watch can do this.
Anyway, you can change it to
an Apple Watch can eat the processing power for this thing for breakfast.
But I just wanted to see how Ultima would look. And yep, this is exactly how I would expect it to appear on a monochrome monitor with the vertical striped lines instead of colors. And I did a whole episode on how Apple II graphics works, and if you haven't seen it, but it's really bizarre as all of the colors achieved by NTSC artifacts and timing gimmicks. And of course, the software here is having to emulate that effect on this RGB monitor. But it is really convenient to be able to change it on the fly like this. It's almost like having 2 different monitors for your Apple IIe.
That's so cool.
Speaking of monitors, the Apple II series had a resolution of 280 pixels across by 192 pixels tall. Or if you had the 80 column card, it could technically be double the horizontal resolution, making it 560 pixels. However, this creates an interesting situation with the LC series computers. Now, while they can technically display 640 by 480, the default and most common monitor used with the LC can only display 512 by 384.
Sounds like game.
So if you look at the numbers, you can see
there's so many. Yeah,
no, because the Mac is exactly double that of the old Apple II. So this is easy to scale.
Oh,
but the horizontal resolution is a different
Rose,
story.
do you
In
know
fact, the LC
about?
monitor technically can't even display.
Do you know about gaming? Oh, what was it? Retro Gaming Mechanics Explained. Because they also do a very similar thing, and it's very good. It's a bit more on the computer science side, but I mean, at that point, you really are just explaining registers and assembly and stuff, so it might be a little bit, but it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. Well, actually,
now, Steve Jobs was very picky that Macs have.
Once this ends, I'll show you guys a video of it. It's very technical heavy. but it is still interesting. It is really technical heavy though.
Square pixels, and with an aspect ratio of 4:3, that means you have to have 512 pixels to match. So how then was this situation handled? As you can clearly see, the 80 columns mode working fine in AppleWorks, as I showed earlier.
The Retro Gaming Mechanics
well, it turns out the LC
Explained
and its
channel
monitor
is
have a hidden
the
graphics
hardest I've
resolution of
nerded out,
560
and
by
I'm so glad I
384,
have my degree
and the only
for
thing
it.
that can access this resolution is the Apple IIe card. Of course, the LC series was not the only computer that could run the Apple IIe card. In fact, another popular computer that has a PDS slot is the Macintosh Color Classic. So I'll show you how we put the Apple IIe card inside the Color Classic. Just turn it
Problem
around
is, like,
back,
I have no
and
functional
this
use
will
for them,
pops
and
off.
besides, I do
You
have an
just
old
grab
MacBook
and
here.
Pull. Requires no tools, similar to the LC series. Now, this particular board has an Ethernet card sitting in the PDS slot, and since there's only one slot, you sort of have to decide which card you'd rather have. For the moment, we'll just put the Apple IIe card in its place. And then shove the board back in, and replace the cover.
Wow, if only motherboards were that easy to replace nowadays.
And here we go, the Color Classic is up and running. I already have the IIe application installed, so we'll just start it up. I still have Ultima 4 in the disk drive, and here it is on the tiny little color screen, and it looks absolutely fantastic, very sharp and bright. Again, this looks actually better than on a real Apple II. Now, there's one thing I wanted to show you. This happens really fast, so I'm going to do a freeze frame right here. Notice that the screen appears to shrink and move over to the left very briefly. Well, this is the Color Classic also entering the special 560 by 384 mode, which was designed into the computer specifically for this purpose. So which other models will it work with besides the LC series and the Color Classic? Well, it also works with the Quadra 630 and the all-in-one LC 520. However, one limitation is that it does require System 6 through 7.5.5, so it won't run on anything newer. Also, there are some other Macs that will physically fit inside, but is not actually compatible due to those Macs being 32-bit or PowerPC Macs. This card sold for $250, which was actually a pretty good deal compared to buying an entire Apple II system at the time, which could easily cost 5 or 6 times that amount. And it's a pretty nifty piece of hardware, and it probably did help convert quite a few Apple II customers into Macintosh customers, which was part of the goal of this card. It's actually kind of a pity that Commodore didn't have a similar device for the Amiga, like the 1000 or 500,
if you punch the Sonic
that would allow it to
card.
run Commodore 64 software, and I think that would have gone a long way towards helping to convert the Commodore 64 base into Amiga users a little faster. Anyway, that about wraps it up for this episode. As always, stick around for the next one, and thanks for watching.
You guys gotta indulge me on this one incredibly technical, like one super technical channel, but I can't spell. But it's like choice. It's so choice. I'll just indulge you in nerd shit. Okay, fair. Like, how the Ghost IA explained. How the backgrounds in Earthbound worked? And the 1-up sound. How Pokemon cries were generated. There's how to do that one exploit in Super Mario Land 2 where you can like go through the memory. Mode 7, which is actually like how Mode 7 works. You know, the thing that everyone talks about. That one level glitch exploit that you can do that basically killed the Super Mario World any % run. And then other stuff like the loading scene for the NES, how the wrong warp worked. There's a lot of real super technical stuff, but okay. I want to the one that makes sense at least is Mode 7, because that's the thing that like everyone talks about and how interesting it is. So let's go watch this video about Mode 7 graphics.
This video is part 5 in a series about Super Nintendo Entertainment System features. You hear about it all the time. This one's all about Background Mode 7 and what it is capable of.
It also explains what the series also explained
Background
what the
mode
other
7
background
is
modes
unique
were.
and different from any of the other 7 background modes, both in functionality and mechanically. In Part 3, we showed how background graphics and tile maps were stored in video RAM. Well, when working with Mode 7, you can throw all that out the window, since it uses its own special format. The graphics and tile map are interleaved, and its location is hard-coded to VRAM address 0. This was done to simplify the pipeline required for all of the math involved in displaying the screen. Each character is 8 by 8 pixels in size, which requires 64 bytes, 1 byte per pixel. The pixels are named off in order from left to right, top to bottom. In direct color mode, these can be 8-bit RGB values, otherwise they are entries into the 256 color palette. There are no bit planes or anything to worry about, everything is laid out just like you would expect. A total of 256 characters can be stored in VRAM at once, which equates to 16 kilobytes. This is 1/4 of the available space in VRAM. The tile map is pretty simple too. There are 256 characters, so 8 bits is enough to be able to reference any
Whoa,
one of them.
12 months.
This means
Claire,
the tile
thank
map
you.
consists of 1 byte.
You get a special noise. Hold on.
The tile map for a Mode 7 background is 1024 by
You get a special
1024
noise.
pixels large, or 128 by 128 characters. This also equates to 16 kilobytes. Like mentioned before, the graphics and tile map are meshed together.
You get a special
and they
beep
take up
noise.
the
Hold on.
first half of VRAM from word address
Let me turn
0
find the
to
special noise.
3FFF. The reason for this interleaving is that the high and low bytes of each word in VRAM is actually stored on different memory chips. When interleaved like so, all of the graphics are found on one chip, and the entire tile map is found on
Trying
the
to find the
other.
long one.
Another design decision to simplify the hardware process.
Nope.
It is worth pointing out that Mode 7 actually has the ability to enable a second
Yay,
map,
there it is. Thank you
referred
for the
to
resub.
as the extended background. It's called extended because supposedly it was to allow an external source to feed in graphics data
How's the stream
to
going
mix
so far?
into the pipeline.
It's pretty.
But that was
No,
never
but
actually
we've gone
implemented, so
from
it's not very
danger
useful.
to
Now, it
cute
just
little
enables
tiny
background
things,
2,
and
which is an
now
exact
we're
copy
going
of
we're
background 1,
deep indulging
except
really
the most
hard
significant bit of the character
into
data is
nerding.
treated as a priority bit instead of a color bit. This cuts the number of colors available to the background in half, reducing it to a 7 BPP image, but now each pixel can have a high or low priority. This makes it possible for an object to be half in front and half behind a character. The main feature of Mode 7 is the ability to perform an affine transformation
Okay, yeah,
to
here's
the
the
background.
important part.
Affine transformations include translation, scaling, rotation, reflection, shearing, and any composition of these effects. Any perspective or nonlinear effects cannot be done by Mode 7 transformations alone, and must be combined with HDMA to be performed, which will be covered in a future video. There are 8 parameters in total that define the transformation. The first 2 are the horizontal and vertical scroll registers, which are the same ones used by all background modes. These define the screen's position within the transformed space. When the transformation is static, these registers are easiest to modify to allow screen scrolling without needing to figure out a bunch of math. The other 6 parameters are unique to Mode 7. The X and Y center coordinates define the origin of the transformation. This can be thought of as the fixed point of the transformation, the center of rotation or scaling. The last 4 parameters, we'll call A, B, C, and D, control exactly how the screen is stretched or squished. A and C modify the horizontal skew, while B and D modify the vertical skew. Later, you will see that these 4 parameters can be fit into a matrix to define the transformation mathematically. Let's see how each of these parameters comes into play
Matrix
by
math.
providing a visual example of what is going on.
Okay, here we go.
In Part 4, it was explained how a scrolling background can be seen as moving the screen around a tile map, or moving the tile map behind the screen. Well, in the world of Mode 7, it turns out that visualizing it as a screen moving around a tile map is much easier to understand. The only quirk is that now the screen won't always stay as a rectangle. To see what the actual screen would look like, the screen boundary here needs to be reformed into a rectangle. As a reminder, Mode 7 can only perform affine transformations without the use of HDMA. This creates a restriction on the shape of the transformed screen. It will always be a parallelogram.
Oh.
Another function unique to Mode 7 is the ability to specify what happens outside the bounds of the background. In all other background modes, the tile map just repeats over and over again, but Mode 7 has a couple extra options. In addition to the repeating background, it is also possible to repeat only a single 8x8 tile, or to not display any tile at all and let the background color show through. These options are useful when displaying a world map, for example. Here are the 8 parameters.
Okay.
The background scroll registers, V and H.
Here we
The
go.
center coordinates, X0 and Y0. And the matrix parameters, A, B, C, and D. The screen will be represented by this rectangle. By default, it is 256 by 224 pixels in size.
Oh boy,
which
here we
takes
go.
up less than 1/16 of the entire
Are you guys
tile.
ready for
It
bytes
sits
and
at the top
matrices?
left corner where the background scroll values are 0, 0. The origin will be represented by this set of axes. It will also sit at the top left corner where the center coordinates are 0, 0. The length of each axis is determined by the matrix parameters. The x-axis is defined by the coordinates AC and the y-axis by BD. The untransformed axes, or identity transformation, results in the axes being 100 hex, or 256 decimal, pixels in length in both the x and y directions.
Yeah.
The
so-
output of this transformation makes the background display as if it were any other background mode, since it isn't changed in any way.
Math.
By changing the background scroll registers,
Math.
we can scroll the background just like any other. Let's increase the length of the x-axis by increasing the A parameter. When the transformation axis becomes longer, the screen stretches out and fits more of the tile map on screen. This makes the background seem to shrink.
Or
If we
squish.
scroll the background first and then increase the axis,
Whoa.
you can see how the screen is fixed against the transformation axes and scales along with it, keeping the center at the origin. We can move the origin inside of the screen region to see how this moves the center of the transformation. The x-axis doesn't have to stay horizontal either. It can be skewed up and down with the C parameter. Now things are getting stretchy. You can see how the A and C parameters change the horizontal skew of the background since all vertical lines are still preserved. The B and D parameters control the vertical skew and similarly change the position of the y-axis of the transformation. Even with all of these parameters
I
changing,
feels like I'm in a
the
college
center
class
stays
right
put
now.
since it is the fixed point of the transformation. Once a transformation has been made, the entire background can be scrolled around by changing the V and H values. This looks kind of funky in the tile map space, since the transformation is applied after the background scrolling, but it looks straightforward in the output space. A common transformation is simple rotation, so let's see what that looks like. The
Do you
transformation axes
skew
need to
it?
rotate around the center, but they
Yeah.
need to always stay the same length
So
and
they need to
stay 90
skew
degrees
it.
apart from one another, or else the image will look distorted. We'll look at rotation again later after going over the math behind all of this. Behind all of this is a fairly
Math.
simple math formula that is calculated for every pixel on the screen.
Math.
The inputs are the x and y screen coordinates we'll call xi and yi, as well as the 8 parameters v, h, x0, y0, a, b, c, and d. The outputs are the 2 x and y coordinates we'll call x prime and y prime that specify the pixel on the tile map to display on the screen at the coordinate xi, yi. Throughout this segment, the hex values of these parameters will be converted from a signed hexadecimal number to a fractional decimal number. We'll switch base.
I would just like to pause right here and just let you guys look at this really quickly. Look at this. Look at what we're looking at right now. This is like the antithesis. This is the antithesis of being a VTuber. This is the absolute pure opposite of what a VTuber usually does. You're like, oh, I don't like math. Math sucks. And I'm over here like, okay, so x sub 1 is the set of all numbers from 0 to 1. Y and we're doing math We are doing the one thing VTubers don't do, and it's math.
Divide by 256.
Why?
So a value
Because
of
it's
hex
video
100
game
corresponds
adjacent
to a
math.
decimal value of 1.0, and hex FD80 corresponds to negative 2.5.
When we were doing the inverse
First, we
square
should
root
look
from
at a
Quake
simple
3,
case.
yeah, okay,
A subset
fair.
of affine transformations
Fair.
called linear transformations. These include reflections, scaling, shearing, and rotation, but excludes translations, as the origin 0, 0 is always the fixed point. Without any modification, the identity transformation, the coordinates of the transformation axes are 1, 0, and 0, 1. Trivially, x prime equals xi, and y prime equals yi.
I did matrix math as part of my comp sci degree, but I don't remember.
A parameter,
I
the screen would be
did
scaled
a
in the
bunch
x
of
direction
matrix
like
math.
this.
I didn't do
This
a lot of
doesn't
it.
change any of the y
Because
coordinates
damn,
of the output, but the x
pain in the
coordinates are
ass.
changed. Specifically, a change in the x input
But it was
causes
cool.
a different change in the x
I know.
output. Thus, x prime equals a times xi. We can verify this by seeing that the input x values are scaled by a factor of a, and the y values are unchanged. Secondly, we modify the c parameter. This results in the horizontal being skewed up or down. Now, both the x and y coordinates of the output are changed. We can see that a greater change in the x input now causes a change in the y input. Thus, y prime equals c times xi plus yi. Vertical distances are preserved, but a change in the x direction now induces an additional change in the y direction.
Oh, okay.
These two steps can be done similarly for the y-axis. Modifying the d parameter scales the screen in the y direction. Now y is scaled by d, so y prime equals c times xi plus d times yi. And finally, varying the b parameter skews the verticals left and right. This creates another term to
I
be
can't
added to the
believe
x
I'm
coordinate.
understanding
So x
this.
prime equals a times xi
What is
plus
wrong
b
with
times
me?
yi. These two equations allow for any linear transformation on the input coordinates xi, yi on the screen and the corresponding output coordinates x prime, y prime on the tile map. That is to say, the pixel on the screen at xi, yi will be colored as the pixel on the tile map at x prime, y prime. We can write these equations more succinctly as a matrix vector product like this. This will come of use later. Now let's step back to affine transformations. Linear transformations aren't able to deal with translations, so we'll have to do some extra work to apply what we just figured out in this case. We can do this by temporarily undoing any translations and setting the origin back to 0, 0.
Do you remember
then
when
reapplying
your
the
math teacher
translations afterwards?
you
Suppose
asked your
we
math
had
teacher
some
when
mode
would
7
this be used?
transformation where we
This is
had
the part when
screen
it was
scroll to
used.
position HV, the center located at x naught, y
Like,
naught,
my
and
goodness.
the matrix parameters a, b, c, and d. Our input variables that correspond to the screen are no longer trivial. Now xi equals x plus h, and yi equals y plus v, since the screen has been scrolled. First, we will move the center of the transformation.
I mean,
to
this
the
guy does a
0, 0
very
location,
good
so
job
we can apply a
visually
linear
explaining some of these things, because
We can do
obviously this
by
is a
subtracting
pain in the
x
ass to
naught
try and
from
figure
all
out
x coordinates
when you
and
look at it
subtracting y naught
without
from all
like
the
the
y
graphical representation.
Now xi equals x plus h minus x naught, and
Like,
yi
oh boy.
equals y plus v minus y naught, and we can apply the formula we derived earlier. Plugging in these two expressions to the two formulas, and we
Math.
get x prime equals
Math.
a times x plus h
Oh, there's so much math!
plus b times y plus v minus y naught, and y prime equals c
there's
times
so
x
much
plus h minus x naught plus d times y plus v minus y naught. Finally, we have to reapply the translation we did by adding back x naught and y naught to the x and y coordinates respectively. Our final result of the mode 7 transformation is x prime equals a times x plus h minus x naught plus b times y plus v minus y naught plus x naught.
But this
and
is
y
the
prime
math
equals c
that
times x plus
made the
h
cool
minus x
thing
naught
in
plus d
F-Zero
times y
happen for
plus
the
v minus
SNES,
y
so
naught
like,
plus y naught.
it's not bad.
We can also
You
write
can't
this
call
in
it bad.
matrix form, although it is not only a product anymore.
Ah.
To be complete,
God,
we
it's
would
getting
then
worse.
need to convert these values back into hex, multiply by 256, and truncate to the nearest bit. To
Imagine
fit
if this was
coordinates into the
3D and you'd
tile
have
map.
a z-axis.
We would also need to check.
Well,
the
I mean, if we had a
bounds of the
z-axis
output
at
coordinates
that
to take the
point,
appropriate measures if they are outside the bounds of the
it actually would sort of be easier.
Before moving on to real examples, we'll revisit the rotation transformation.
Because we're trying to
if you
simulate.
wanted to rotate the screen by some angle theta, you'd have to calculate the matrix parameters A, B, C, and D that correspond to that rotation.
To theta.
There's a pretty simple way of defining this transformation in terms of theta instead of these 4 parameters. The SNES only takes these parameters, but having a subroutine that returns these parameters given a specific angle would be really useful.
Does it have it?
Suppose we rotate the screen about the center at an angle of theta counterclockwise. In a rotation, the angle between the transformed axes is preserved at 90 degrees, and the lengths of these axes are unchanged from the original length of 1. We can use the
because this is the SNES. It couldn't do 3D. Sort of.
Looking at the bottom triangle, we see that the cosine of theta equals the adjacent
we
edge
are in
D
the
over
weeds
the hypotenuse
now.
1, which just results in D.
Oh, we are in the math weeds now. Oh god. We're in we're doing trigonometry
Cosine
now.
of theta equals A, and the sine of theta equals negative C, since we are rotating counterclockwise above the screen. Flip these equations around, and you get A equals cosine theta, B
What
equals
did I
sine
do?
theta, C equals negative sine theta, and D equals cosine theta. These can be plugged into the general transformation formula to create a formula specifically for rotating the screen by an angle theta.
Oh, sweet god.
Finally,
okay.
let's just show some examples of Mode 7 transformations
Okay,
that
hey,
don't
look.
use HDMA
Something
to
that
show the
actually
screen
makes sense.
transformations in real time. First is the intro screen of Super Metroid.
So it's one thing and it just kind of sprays along.
You can intuitively reason that the transformed screen is a background layer. A lot of other games make things that you might think were objects but are actually placed on backgrounds, like the pendulum in the splash screen of Chrono Trigger.
This one's really cool. So the pendulum wasn't moving, it was the camera. It was the camera moving. That's ridiculous.
This is because objects cannot be rotated, only backgrounds can without extra hardware. Even Bowser at the ending of Super Mario World is on a background.
So that's... Oh my god, look at just the jank-ass rotation. So that explains why he's moving on such a nice little sine wave.
Rotations here seem to stutter a bit and aren't very smooth. This is because trigonometric functions like sine and cosine are not very computationally friendly. In this case, the matrix parameters for Bowser rocking back and forth and flipping upside down are hard-coded. If more precision is needed, like when Bowser is defeated and flying away, a lookup table for the sine and cosine functions are used instead of calculating them directly. Most Mode 7 transformations on actual scenery backgrounds make use of HDMA to produce a non-linear perspective or split screen effects. We'll touch on Mode 7 again a little bit when we introduce HDMA later. Until then, thank you for watching.
Oh my god, I just realized that Mario Kart had split screen. How the fuck did it do that? I just thought it was like, well, yeah, the next video is here, but that's another 15 minutes and we have gone beyond our time today, ladies and gentlemen and friends. Babs, say next video, I want to see how perspective works. It's 30 minutes. We'll do it next Friday, okay? We will do it next Friday. This is super nerd shit. Peak nerd shit. So let's go back. Of course. So, of course, thank you guys for tuning in. It was a very entertaining, educational night. We got to see some cool tech products. We got to see some just dumb, dangerous things, which is always a treat. And we got to see, well, I guess how one of the coolest parts of SNES worked. Were you impressed I knew about sine cosine tables, Senpai? I mean, Yes. I mean, it's a smart thing. Like, lookup tables are very helpful if you have the space for them. And obviously, games usually don't. And honestly, who needs that much like, do you really need to do computation when the thing is just designed to go over and over in a circle? You know, I don't know. So, reminder again, not Monday. What day is it? What day is tomorrow? Saturday, right? Saturday. Saturday, we're going to be doing again our BattleBots watch party. So we've watched the latest season, season 5. So we're gonna go a year back to season 4, and it's gonna be really interesting. If you guys haven't watched any robot combat stuff beforehand, I suggest you try and join us by joining our Discord. It's super cool. It's really fun to watch, even if you don't know anything about robotics. I mean, it's just 2 blocks of metal duking it out for supremacy. So pretty good. pretty entertaining. So let's see here. We're going to, who was the person we're gonna raid? Where was that person's name? We were gonna raid Sun, right? Yes. Are they still live or no? Oh, they just ended the stream. Dang. I was going to raid them. I do love their channel. Let's see who we can send everybody over to. Sun's gone. Let's see here. Iron Mouse has a 3D channel? Cool. That was a debut. Final Fantasy. Larry is playing Super Robot Wars. Trying to find someone to raid. Rose, can you drop their Twitch? And we will totally raid them. I also know there is also what is he playing? Ah. Okay. Thank you very much. It's gonna be Max. We're gonna raid them. Of course, give them a wonderful time. Don't be mean. Tell them we said hi. Here. Robots. So, I hope you guys enjoyed our time today. See you guys tomorrow, hopefully in the Discord. And make sure you guys save before you go. It's always dangerous out there. Okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, we're gonna raid in 3, 2, 1.